Was it a scramble?
Welcome to the source.
Wait. You spell your own ball and then what?
Source.
Oh, right. Okay. Right.
Hey, get the source.
Your own ball.
Got it.
Those are really fun.
We're live, by the way. What's up, everybody? All right, let me get my green screen on. I'm looking crazy here.
Well, while you do that, we'll get that the Toast versus Odd Shopper golf classic out in the desert going. That has to happen.
Well, that was my next thing. Is we're gonna have to throw in some handicaps.
No,
here
we don't want
because,
fucking handicaps.
Sure. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, no, we don't want to do
it.
handicaps. That's a terrible, dumb idea.
I am very gifted. I'm not the type of person that likes to lose. I mean, I'm a competitor. So yeah, maybe I'm not.
The mental game is strong because if my golf swing isn't looking good, my mouth is going to be going the whole time. So
I can't imagine that at all from you.
What's up, everybody? Sorry about this weekend. This has been a nightmare. Prop Beaver needs to come back from vacation is what needs to happen. Also, still don't have my computer. They told me at 11 o'clock you'll hear from us within the next hour. Still haven't heard from them. This is crazy. Week and a half to fix a freaking computer. Whatever. So yeah, we're live. We got 10 baseball games. Then Just About Outside's coming on to talk Seahawks. And then Andy and Scoop are coming on to talk Arizona Cardinals. And then we're doing 4 college football teams. So loaded up here. But we'll start with the 4 baseball. And by the way, I need to include this because last week was so shitty for me in the MLB. I had a great Sunday, man. Had a great Sunday. Feels good. Felt nice to see one go through the net. I went 3-1 with my 4 bets, but I had a nice plus 158 Blue Jays in there. I got the Mets Marlins first 5 under at plus 110 for a full unit. So really nice Sunday for me. And I do have 2 bets down on this MLB slate. So I have a couple, but mostly let's hear what these 2 guys have to say. And we're starting with the Snakes on the road down in Miami. Brandon Pfaadt against a man named Euler. As you guys could probably imagine, I don't know who the hell that is, so I didn't spend more than 30 seconds on this game. Let's hear what these guys have to say.
Lindy, if you have something on him, I don't really have much on him. So
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. He's 29. He's been around. Anytime you see like a 29-year-old who has like 2 years of sample size in MLB, you can just assume that they're not very good because otherwise you would see them before then. So he's kind of a journeyman. He was drafted by Pittsburgh back in the day. He has absolutely no strikeout stuff. I don't think he's going to be very long for this one either. So it's just kind of a weird one. So you're kind of like looking at everybody else that could potentially get added here. He's been really good over, what was it, like 2.88 ERA, 24 to 7 strikeouts, walks. I mean, it's like whatever going through it. But anytime I see a 29-year-old, I just assume that they're going to get completely shelled when they show up in spots like this. I can't imagine he's very good. I can't imagine that Arizona isn't looking and putting together a bullpen plan. Things don't go well for Miami putting together it going up against Arizona and not having a bullpen plan. But this is just a wild line. I mean, we're laying a pretty big price in a ballpark that really suppresses runs, 8.5 total. And you run through the ballpark and it really just keeps me away from doing anything with this game. Although Arizona, I think is the rightful side to be on. I'd be looking at the run line and that's about it.
Yeah, I'm going to put the same thing up for me. Toes, last night when I was looking at this, I almost took Arizona minus 1.5 and minus 115. But if you look at it now, that was last night around 11 p.m. It's now, how many hours? 17 hours later. It's kind of the same price, and it's the first game on the and it's the first game on the slate. So you know everyone's betting it. So they've probably taken a lot of action of Arizona minus 1.5. Really not a ton of line movement.
Yeah, there's not a chance I can play Arizona here today. Pfaadt has been decent. Pfaadt has been, decent. Like this isn't like me like thinking that Brandon Pfaadt's going to get hit up or anything like that. It's just that Miami offensively has been feasible the last couple of weeks. And so they're just not a team that I consider that's just going to roll over and die. And Arizona, after Pfaadt, their bullpen situation isn't great. Their main setup guys have worked 2 of the last 3 days. Justin Martinez and AJ Puck have worked 2 of the last 3 days. So they're still going to have Thompson most likely going to have Ginkel and Seawald as well. But I mean, we've seen with Seawald, he hasn't been great either. And then on the Miami side, we talked about, Lindy talked about him not going very long in Aller or whatever his name is. Fouchers went back-to-back nights. I mean, they used 4 guys that with decent pitch mounts, or 3 guys yesterday with decent pitch mounts out of their bullpen. So it's not like Miami's bullpen's in a great position either. I mean, they're available, but again, they're just not in a great shape. So if I had to gun to my head, it'd be probably first 5 over 4.5. Like I think if you're going to see runs, they're going to be early. So that's just I didn't play it though.
I'm not even going to put it up on the screen. Doesn't seem like any of us like this game.
No. Connor Norby, just keep your eyes on him too. He's a really talented kid from Baltimore. Miami acquired him. He's now their number 3 prospect sitting in house, and I like him. I think he's going to be somebody who has a decent enough speed power bat, but
I was hoping that he was going to be a little bit higher in the lineup. Like, why do they love like Jonah Bride so much? Like, it's this time of year, it almost like doesn't matter. Like Jonah Bride, I think can be a utility guy somewhere at some point in time. I think you really do want to be careful with like just saying certain prospects are like can't miss kind of guys. I mean, we see guys like Jackson Holiday get called up and be like terrible, and then they're fantastic. It's somewhere in the middle. So like for Connor Norby, like batting 6th, it doesn't really matter. You probably don't want him to bat 3rd or 4th and then just watch him get his confidence shaken. Get Byron Buxton back in the day when we had to put him in the 9 hole out of nowhere, getting called up as the number 1 prospect in baseball. So stuff like this happens, and so however you want to treat it is probably just an organizational thing. So I just wanted to point out that he's there, and I think that that's an improvement at the back half of that offense. Yeah, especially him and Stowers.
I'm switching this on to the next game. And one more thing, and for those of you that like shit like this, as far as spot-wise on the season, Marlins and road getaway days would be a spot to back them. In first games of series, no, sir. Not that you should place bets based on that, but I thought it was worth mentioning.
It's fun to talk about.
Yeah, it's fun. And honestly, there was a couple people in the Discord last night that I know yesterday that took Marlins money line at plus 170 because it was a road getaway day. And it's kind of hard to argue with it. The Marlins record on road getaway days, it's insane. They're really good. I know they're 3-1 in those spots since the All-Star break because it was like, it's after the break. That's over now. No, 3-1 in road getaway days outright. So Marlins and road getaway days is a weird phenomenon.
And the one that they lost recently, the Phillies game. I mean, they were in that game the whole time too. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
just got me off. Now I'm like thinking of road getaway days.
Now let's move on to Reds, Blue Jays, and Toast.
Get away from that game. Let's move on.
Let's get away from that game. I know Toast has a bet on this one, and I was leaning the same. Yeah, you have the over and Reds team total over, or is it Reds and Reds team total over?
Yep. Over and Reds team total over. Yeah.
All right.
Just for me, not only do we getting to fade Kevin Gausman at home, that I understand he's looked a little bit better his last 3 home starts, but as a whole and his time in Toronto has been just a pure fade for me. And it's not, I understand that this Reds lineup isn't somebody that you're going to run to the window to back, but versus right-handed pitching recently, they've been pretty good. The whole Kansas series, you can throw that out the window, but against St. Louis and Milwaukee, they were feasible. And I really like this spot for Cincinnati. I mean, I talk about this a lot. Teams that look like dog shit during a homestand and then playing them that first game on the road is a spot that I love to take, and we're getting it here. I mean, the Reds just got embarrassed by Kansas City. I mean, would they give up over 30 runs and they scored 3 themselves? I mean, that's just an absolute embarrassment. So it's more of a thing on the spot for me, and the fact that I'm getting Gausman, who hasn't really been good at home at all. I mean, and a Blue Jays team coming home from LA and Chicago, I just really hate the spot for them. It's hard for me to get behind Julian Aguilar and that Reds bullpen to hold Toronto down. So again, I don't really want to deal with that, but I do think we see runs here today, and I think the Reds score most of them.
Lindy, you agree with that?
Yeah, it's a hard one with the Julian Aguilar spot. I don't mind the team total. I'm probably not going to be firing that one up. Only play I have here is Tyler Stevenson homer. Plus 630. It was over at FanDuel. It's plus 600 now, so it's gone down a little bit here, but I think it's just a sharp play on being able to jump on anything that has to do with Kevin Gausman name recognition, suppressing prices. Like, he's not the same guy. He's got a 225 expected ISO against right-handed bats this season. His splitter is not the same splitter that we've seen in years past with tons and swing and miss. And you get a guy in Stevenson who just, only a low launch angle there, 8.5 degrees against right-handed pitching here. But Gaussman gives up fly ball contact, 16.6 degree average launch angle off the bat for him this season. I think that kind of lines up to help out a guy like Stevenson. If he puts bat on ball, he's going to take Kevin Gaussman for a ride. So I'm willing to be playing it as a price. Plus 600 looks really, really good to me still at that number. So fire it up.
It's at plus 600 it's at?
Yep.
All right, cool. So that's plus 600. That's Stevenson home run. And I'm putting Reds up for me too, because I actually almost took the Reds. First of all, shout out to Toronto for coming through for me yesterday, plus 158.
Yeah, I had them too.
Yeah, it was nice. And yeah, what Toe said, it's Gaussman at home, and it's just an overreaction to the Reds' recent shitty home. This price is just off to me. So this actually isn't one of my two bets, but I did almost place the Reds here.
Yeah, and Toronto's bullpen, is terrible to begin with. And Green and Cabrera have worked 2 of the last 3 nights. Very low pitch counts, but just something to be aware of. Just other things that made me like the Reds even more.
Cool. Let's move on to the next.
Get that Arizona graphic out of my section, please.
I'm not sure how that got there, honestly. Next up.
You're playing a minus 207 money line favorite. You're a fan.
And the people that are just like fast forwarding, looking at the colors that are going to talk
that's
shit.
what I'm saying. Here comes the DM.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Let's talk Grimace. Orioles, Mets in Citi Field. Wanted to play the Mets. Certainly won't play him at this price, though.
Wait, what is it now?
Minus 135.
What did I get him at?
I mean, aren't we just kind of like all going to come to the same conclusion that both these starting pitchers suck? And how do you not like offense in this one today?
I don't think that's the conclusion I'm at, to be honest.
Oh,
no, I do not. I'm not at that conclusion.
Trevor
Baltimore
Rogers out of
Baltimore has a
Baltimore.
lot to prove to Toasty.
Okay.
It's not that I disagree with what you said about the starting pitchers. I don't like the lineups right now. I mean, the Mets haven't really gotten to the last few lefty starters, right? I don't even know what to think of the Mets lineup, and same goes for Baltimore.
I have a full unit on the Mets, by the way.
Yeah? All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Well, again, I just think that we're getting a Baltimore team that, I know I have a lot of little things that I say, but I always talk about this team has been playing 500 baseball for over a month now. This is a 500 baseball team right now. Like, I'm sorry that I know that they played well at the beginning of the year and stuff like that, but right now they're a 500 baseball team, and I'll give you that the Mets are the same way, but we're getting David Peterson at home, where over his last 5-6 starts, I mean, he's been just about under a 3 ERA, a 1.46 whip. The xFIP is there for sure, but is this Baltimore lineup really scare you right now? I mean, especially looking at it right now, I mean, with Slater at the top and Urias and Kowser, I mean, it's just one of these, it's just this lineup doesn't really scare me right now with what they've been doing. I mean, they struggle against Boston. I mean, they look decent against Washington, but did they really? I mean, they should be really scoring runs against that team. And then against Tampa Bay, I mean, they own that team. So, again, I'm just not at a spot where I trust Baltimore in general. Not to mention you have Trevor Rogers, who's been absolutely terrible for them since he's came over from Miami. And the Mets know him very well because he pitched in Miami. So the Mets have seen him a ton of times the last 2 or 3 years. And I do think that the Mets lineup, what they have shown with Lindor and Vientos and Martinez and Alonso and Marte back, I do think that they have an advantage here with the bats. And then you flip it over to the bullpen, and the Mets have everybody rested and available that I would want in their bullpen ready to go. I think that the Mets win this game pretty easily, honestly. I really, really like the Mets today.
Well, Lindy, you got a couple people pissed off when you took a shot at David Peterson in the comments.
Well,
they're like,
that's random.
They're like, what the fuck are you
Maybe
talking
if
about?
he didn't fucking suck, I wouldn't have to take shots at him. But here we are. It's just, I mean, look at the numbers, guys. I mean, it comes down to data at the end of the day. And I mean, Baltimore has a 124 WRC plus against lefties in the last 30 days. So you can say what you want about the way the lineup looks and about the pieces of it. It's still been performing in a small sample size, if you want to be looking at it that way.
They've put a lot against a lot of bad bullpens.
Yeah,
they haven't touched any lefty. They haven't touched lefty starters in a while. But
okay, lefty starters, sure. It is what it is. But then you get a guy like David Peterson, who 3.04 ERA, 1.39 WHIP. Fancy, love looking at it. Seeing a 3.1 ERA guy. Stop looking at ERA as the main dictator of somebody and their future performance. David Peterson gives up right around a 44% hard hit, a 3.54 xWOBA, 18.2% K rate. He walks 11% of batter space this season. The only thing he really does well is he gets away with the hard contact because it tends to be lower. He tends to get some type of ground ball stuff with a couple of specific pitches, that sinker in particular, which is his primary offering, -2-degree average launch angle with it on the season. So if you want to point out one thing that could potentially be good, it's that, hey, the sinker's working. He's getting that ball punted into the ground and sounds great. But the guy has a 5.31 expected ERA next to a 3.04 ERA. We're talking about one of the biggest disparities of that for starting pitchers in baseball. And say what you want about expected numbers, they're not perfect.
Back. I don't know what happened. Oh, looks like we're back now, but we just blanked out for 5 seconds. Let me send a "we good" to the thing. Make sure we're back. It looks like it says excellent connection. It looks like it just shorted out for 5 minutes there. I don't know what happened, but one of the comments was funny. It says, "Data D's nuts. Keep David Peterson's name out your goddamn mouth."
The internet is a beautiful, beautiful place. But here's the thing. The fucking internet also crapped out the moment you tried to back David Peterson there. So who's right now? Just saying.
I will say I agree with Lindy. I like XFIP a lot, and his XFIP is very much concerning. I just do think that the Mets do have an advantage later in this game with the bullpens. So
Lindy said he leans towards the over. I thought it was going to be an under game. I didn't bet this one, so I don't trust either of these lineups right now. What's
the weather look like? Is there some rain in New York right now, or no?
It was raining last night here.
Curious.
It rained earlier, says Andy.
It looks like we have some swirls coming in.
I love the swirls. Also, this is 8.5 over at FanDuel, still -120, but 9 is fine too, as long as you're getting inside of -105, because that 15-cent difference for a half run, it's about comparable. I'd be okay with it.
And the only reason I asked about the rain is because I saw it on red on RotoWire. That's the only reason I asked.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's get to a game I actually bet here. And we're still not out. Oh no, I do have a bet in this game. All right, so it's Pirates Rangers. Toast, did you see my bet in this one?
I did not, actually.
I took the under.
Okay, I was gonna say I got so lucky with Texas yesterday. I didn't even know what to do today.
That's right. You ended up stealing that one.
That was so lucky.
I can't talk about it. It makes me so sad.
You know what?
I didn't.
I was gonna say, were you on the Twins?
No, I just am a Twins fan. It sucked.
Okay.
That game, that Rangers money line hit lost Tinker the championship. For those of you who are in the league, Tinker has made the playoffs 5 out of the last 7 weeks, and he loses. And he had it. And if the Rangers lost that game, he would have won it. Tinker just cannot catch a break. All right, Pirates at Rangers, and Simple took the under. Thought the number was a little high. When I looked last night, it was the run index. It was towards the bottom. It was the third lowest of the day. 2 bad lineups. I like Ortiz. I trust Dade Dunning at home in night starts. I know those splits are crazy, but he's come through for me in those spots. Certainly, Pirates lineup isn't anything to fear. Just thought the number was too high based on the fact that the 2 names as far as starting pitching, maybe not the most appealing names to see on paper, but I think both of them should pitch well. I'm a little worried about the Rangers bullpen, but again, it's the Pirates, and if the Pirates put up a 5 spot and screw me here, okay. But yeah, I got it at 8.5, but I got it at plus money. So I think there's 9s available now. So I guess it moved against me, but it didn't move as much as you think, because my 8.5 is at a big plus. Well, not big plus, right? I think at plus 102 or something. So I'm at under 8.5 at plus money.
I can go really quickly. It's Pirates or pass. I just don't feel like the Rangers should be this big of a favorite over anybody. Dane Dunning at home has been serviceable. I'll give you that. But I don't know what's wrong with Kirby Yates right now, but I think he's blown 2 of his last 3 saves. He also went 17 pitches last night in a blown save. David Robinson's back-to-back nights. Andrew Chafin 2 of the last 3 nights. One of their long relievers went yesterday too. So the Texas bullpen isn't in great shape. But it's just really hard to bet Pittsburgh right now, how terrible they've been. I know that they looked decent against Seattle, but then they got mollywopped on Sunday. So Pittsburgh has everybody in their bullpen available, I guess. But again, I didn't bet this, but there's just no way in hell I'm paying minus 160, 150 with Texas. No way in hell.
Lindy?
Corey Seager is going to hit absolute bombs today. So if you want to be invested in such things, plus 300 for him to go yard, 2+ home runs, 30-1. Have a small play on that too, because I'm a sick person. But I've only done this now 3 times this season. It's the first time I've ever even looked at the market. I've gone 2 for 3 with it, so I feel pretty good about it. This is just square peg, square hole type of a thing. 271 expected ISO against lefties. 271 expected ISO against lefties for Luis L. Ortiz. And then Seager, 290 expected ISO against righties. 20 home runs versus them on the season. It gets a little bit better too, where the 3 primary offerings, you got fastball, slider, and then kind of like a I don't even know what it's like, a cutter kind of thing that he's throwing. All 3 of those, he's giving up over a 20-degree launch angle. When you start seeing that stuff against Corey Seager, it's just all systems go. I don't see any way that he doesn't take him for a ride in 2-3 at bats against him today. It's going to be beautiful.
Well, hopefully they're solo home runs, because I'm holding an under ticket.
There you go. You can do that. You can do that. Just Corey, nobody else.
Yeah, just Corey. He can have the only 3 hits in the Rangers lineup tonight. Let's go over to Angels Royals. Didn't look at this game, not even for 5 seconds. Angels, what is it? Plus 195.
I didn't know Seth Lugo was this good until this morning, if we're going to be honest. Like
That's what I'm saying. People in the Discord are like,
shit.
"Oh, I got 1.5 units on the Royals run line."
Is that how they talk?
I'm like, damn, bro.
Is that how people in the Discord talk?
That's how it comes off in my head. Yeah, I read shit like that. Like, the fuck
They're
are we
all
doing here?
from Alabama.
Yeah,
Roll
what?
Tide.
Like,
Roll
oh, yeah.
Tide.
Those ones are my favorite.
All
Week
right.
0, boys. It's week 0.
It is
Come
week
on down.
0. So you guys have apparently our Discord has 1.5 units on the Royals.
Let me get them Royals on the run line.
I'm from the South.
Dude, we have voice hit night caps in the Discord. I've never heard anyone talk like that in there.
I'm not in those, so I don't want to ruin what's in my head. If it sounds way better.
All right, go ahead, Toast. What do you think?
No, I didn't even have him playing the game. I'm just. In what world is Seth Lugo a minus 200 favorite right now, the way that he's pitching? He had 1 decent road start in Detroit where somehow he went 8 innings and gave up 1 run. Besides that, 6 to the Cubs, 6 to Boston, 8 to Minnesota. Yeah, he's been absolutely terrible. So there's just no way in hell I bet the Royals here today.
He's about to deal, though. The Angels are so bad.
Yeah,
You would
this
think
is like
that.
where you're just seeing some outrageous results for Seth Lugo. Like I'm with you. I think minus 250 just kind of silly at this point.
We'll take the Angels.
But I can't do it. I refuse. Kansas City offensively. I will say there's one play that I haven't pulled the trigger on that I'm just going to at least throw out there. Nico Cavadas. This is some kid that got called up for his big league debut a couple days ago. He's a big swinging lefty, went to Notre Dame. He strikes out at like a 35% clip, but his 1 hit, his over total bases, is like minus 115 today. He should be batting cleanup yet again, and he hasn't been pinch hit yet for. So I think if you start getting a cleanup hitter at that kind of a price, who, again, he's going to strike out an absolute metric ton. That's what his AAA profile indicates. That's what scouts indicate. But Nico Cavadas, I wanted to at least get your guys' take on that, because this is kind of like one of those prop pieces that just pop up from time to time in my model, and I'm not positive what to do with it because, this is a guy who he's not going to get the ball in play very often, but he had a brutal stretch here at AAA with the Angels, but he was hitting right around 280 there with Boston before he got traded over. So wanted to at least throw that one out there for the people if you guys want to take a look at it yourself. I haven't played it yet, but wanted to get your take.
Yeah, well, he's got a square up on Prize Picks, so that might be worth a play. I mean, dude had what? I mean, he was decent in Worcester, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he's just like a raw power darling. He hit a bajillion home runs at Notre Dame.
I was gonna say because he was like a 1-dotter, right? The OPS guy down there, or very close to it for a while.
Yep, he can smash. But again, I'm just looking for a hit. He can do it any way he wants. Yeah. I'll find that. And again, it was just trying to find something in this game that made sense. And this is a weird one, but it was one of the better looks that I had, I thought, on my sheet today. But I don't know. I haven't played it yet. I'll be considering it here as we finish up. It's a good pick and play, though, for the people.
So Lindy leaning towards Nico Cavadas.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know who he was till this morning either. Just throwing it out there.
I still don't. Even after listening, I still don't know who he is. I had to go check to see what team he was on to know what color to make the graphic. He's on the Angels.
The only reason I knew is because I watched the Braves play last night, and so they talked about him.
Oh, so you're a big supporter of Nico.
He's going to be in a prize pick lineup of mine today, just to support my friend Lindy.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, what a good person you are. You're such a good person.
Yeah, I try.
Watch him not make the lineup. That would be funny.
I refreshed it just to see.
Right? It doesn't even make it. That's DFA'd before the game.
He sucks. Goodbye.
Boston, Houston. I have a bet in this one.
I'm so mad.
CLV,
What did you
CLV
get?
King.
Oh, did you get it? Ah, damn. I was looking at Houston for 2 hours last night. I was scared what to do. Congratulations. That's a hell of a bet.
I got Houston at minus 124. Wow. Sniped it. Sniper.
Sniper.
I even posted this in the Discord too.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to if you guys remember, I took Boston in that first game of the Baltimore series at plus 180. It hit. Then the next day I went to Baltimore because I was like, yo, I know you guys don't like Cade Povich, but he's a lefty, and Boston's not quite as dominant against lefties. And I was right about that part. Povich pitched great. Unfortunately, Baltimore's bats didn't show up, and I lost that one. But here we are against Kikuchi in Houston. Kikuchi's been a much different guy since he joined the Astros, and it's not necessarily that I think Kikuchi's going to absolutely deal or anything like that, but I'm sure he'll give us a quality start, and that's all we're going to need, in my opinion. Tanner Houck, the wheels have fallen off for this young man, and he's pitching on the road in Houston. Astros have been getting to righty starters. Not to mention, Astros just keep finding a way to win games. What are they, like 11-1 in the last 12, 9-1 in the last 10, something like that? They keep finding a way to win baseball games. I don't think, who is it, Presley? I don't think Presley's available for the Astros, but other than that, they should have all their bullpen arms at their disposal. I feel like I have the starting pitching advantage, and the fact that Kikuchi's a lefty, I think the lineups are actually kind of even because it's against a lefty. And bullpen-wise, I don't want to be anywhere near Boston, even though I had to apologize to Kenley Jansen for coming through, saving that 12-10 game for me. I typed out a long apology.
That was big for us on Friday. That was a big one.
I typed out in the Discord.
I ended up doubling down when Adley Rutschman got scratched because that was such a big deal from a catching perspective. You go from a defensive stud like Rutschman to McCann. It was a double down territory Friday. But anyway, continue on. Yeah,
so Houston money line is my biggest bet of the day. Although it's minus 124. I got it at, if it's at minus 145, minus 150 now. I still think the Astros are their play, but obviously I wouldn't tell you to hammer it at that price. But I think the Astros win this game, and I think it's the right side to be on.
I'll just go really quickly. I couldn't agree more. I wish I would have got it. The reason I didn't play it last night is because Jordan didn't play yesterday. I was hoping to. I wanted to make sure that he played today because that Astros lineup is pretty damn weak, 6 through 9 with Cabbage, Dubon, and Whitcomb. I mean, it's pretty weak. So I wanted to make sure that bat was in the lineup. But yeah, Kikuchi's been a different guy in Houston. I mean, they're not letting him throw, or they're making him throw a whole bunch of sliders. They're not letting him throw any curveballs, which is a really, really big difference for him. So that's a reason I've been backing him a lot since he's been in Houston. But again, I don't think I can do it at this number, not with that Astros lineup. So if you got it Houston early, I'm glad with that. But if not, I can't advise to play Houston at this number.
Lindy?
It's definitely a great ticket to have for you. I am here sad and ticketless. So there's that. Yusei Kikuchi, I think I'm not a big fan of it here at this point. Plus 124 in the over of 7.5 strikeouts. I mean, we're looking for 8 for him. This is a Boston team that I think against lefties over the last 30 days has been like top 3 in baseball. It's like Philly, Pittsburgh, and Boston. That makes no sense that Pittsburgh's up there over the last 30, but such is life. Data is data. But a 23.2% K rate, that isn't fully encapsulating what you're running into. Having Tyler O'Neill back in that lineup. Tyler O'Neill smashes baseballs, but a 32.6% K rate, now batting second here on a day in, day out basis. As he starts getting acclimated here again, you're just going to see those strikeout rates go up, even though there are going to be times he takes Kikuchi and such for a ride here in these spots. Rob Refsnyder, 24% K rate as well. Working through it, just it's an okay play, but I won't be making it at this point.
All right, so I guess I'm the only one with a ticket down on this one, but I like my side, Houston. And look, minus 145, minus 150, obviously not quite as much, but yeah.
Casas has a high K rate now too, right? With him back in the lineup.
Justin Casas, yeah, he's buried though. He's batting 7th today. You'll see him against righties. He'll be batting 3rd pretty much routinely, right in front of Devers. They'll just go left there. Even though I kind of wish that they would put O'Neill in the 3 hole and they would move him up to 2. I always think it's better in any situation in baseball if you can just go left, right as many times as possible, because bullpens exist. So it is what it is.
And one last thing, spot wise, it's solid for Houston. You got Boston coming off that huge series against Baltimore, have to fly into Houston with no days off. And meanwhile, the Astros, they just played a home series against the White Sox. So played the worst team in baseball at home, didn't need to travel. In fact, yesterday's game, they probably had this game circled looking at this big series against Boston. So I also like the spot for Houston as well, I forgot to mention. All right, Twins. Padres, wow, both of your favorite teams squaring off here. Didn't even realize that till just now. So who gets this one?
I mean, it's Padres or pass. I'm going to be passing on it. Michael King is just too damn good. I don't know what to do with these prices. Go ahead. You don't like Michael King? I'm obsessed with this human. I was in New York.
I'm obsessed with him.
I think Michael King is awesome.
A stud. He is a Clydesdale. He's not even a horse. He is a Clydesdale.
He's phenomenal. He is so beautiful and majestic, and the way that he moves.
What the fuck is going on?
What?
You guys like Michael King like that?
Oh, buddy. Open up. We're fine.
All right.
Let it happen.
So you guys both like the Padres then?
So
Sure
I didn't bet the Padres. I just didn't like the price with them coming out of Coors on those 3 days. But I will say that part of the reason that I bet Texas yesterday is because I assumed in my head that Rocco Baldelli, if he got into a closer game, probably wouldn't use his major bullpen arms because they had a pretty big series with the Padres on deck. That didn't happen. And the Twins' bullpen is absolutely slaughtered right now. I mean, if they throw Duran out there again, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, Lindy, but they might just, I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, 4 of the last 5 days, really? Griffin Jacks, 3 of the last 4. Alcantara, 3 of the last 4. Sands, 2 of the last 3. That back end of that Minnesota bullpen is absolutely terrible. So if you don't get some decent length out of Zebby Matthews, you could be in for some trouble here tonight. Again, I didn't play the Padres. I don't like the price. But yeah, it's Padres or pass for me as well.
I thought the Twins were the play, to be honest, but I didn't. I got nothing. So
Padres have a full rested bullpen behind King. Not that they need it.
Oh, it's the best bullpen in baseball, right?
It's not even a question.
And we just miss Byron Buxton so much. It just hurts.
I mean, yeah, having no Buxton, no Correa really, really hurts. Eddie Julian in the lineup, though, should be. That's my boy. Everybody loves Eddie.
Punch me in the face. Are you also a Gophers fan, Lindy?
No, even though I grew up going to a lot of games. Both my parents are from like Twin City area. Well, like close-ish there. But yes, rah for Sky Yuma. That was always their thing up there. Rah for the U of M. Went to a lot of those games growing up.
Okay.
Yep.
We sniped your quarterback. He's with Rutgers now. He's in Jersey.
Ooh.
Yep.
Oh, Rutgers. Oh man, they're getting some steam. It looks like
this is the year of the rut.
Oh my dear God, are we back to that?
The Rutgers.
Is it ever the year of the rut?
Yo, you got a Big Ten schedule. They don't play Penn State, Michigan State, or Ohio State this year. Rutgers is winning 10 games this year.
Wow.
What's their win total?
Is that like 8.5?
I was being serious. I didn't know.
No, hit the. I don't even think I can bet it because it's in New Jersey. It's in New Jersey, so I can't even.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
All right, Rays on the road in Oakland. Toast's favorite pitcher in the world, Taj Bradley, gets the road start here against Boyle.
What?
I'm surprised that you love Taj Bradley. What are you going to act like you don't for? You love Taj Bradley.
I mean, I think he's pretty damn good. I mean, but I don't love him.
There was one time.
I bet the A's as soon as I could last night at plus 120.
There was one time
we're on the same dog for the first time since.
Hey,
this is great.
Wait, you guys are both on Oakland?
Yeah, we're both on Oakland. Oh, I didn't know that, but yeah, we're both on Oakland money line. Go ahead, Lindy. You're the guest.
Yeah, Joe Boyle rules. We're going to be backing him here in this spot. 377 expected slugging. Tampa just dinged up to a certain extent here too. Do we see is Yandy Diaz going to be in this lineup? Because he got removed yesterday. I doubt he ends up playing. So
I was going to say, I doubt after a cross-country flight we see him.
You just don't see it happen very often where you get removed from a game there and then all of a sudden he would be inserted after the road trip. So I feel good about him being out of this lineup as well. We'll get confirmation on that, but it's not a very good Tampa Bay lineup here too. They are just routinely, they've started to pack it in. That's really what it comes down to. In Oakland, you have Brent Rooker, who's had one game back since being on paternity leave, comes back. He's doing great. He's feeling great. What? Just go ahead and read it. What
I was going to say read it because I don't even know.
He says, he put in quotes, like a quote from Toast. He said, Taj Bradley is a majestic horse. Oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Beautiful rainbow. Do me on it.
All right, so you guys both are on Oakland. Our poll is on Oakland. The viewers are taking, well, it's 44%, 45%.
Oh, okay.
So it's
way to mush it, guys. Thanks. Great.
Oh, wait, what? Because I swear, I didn't really look at this game. I swear, when I pulled it up, my initial reaction was going to be Taj Bradley and the Rays at minus 127 against Oakland. I'm sure the whole world's betting Tampa here. That's what I was going to say. But like, you guys are both on Oakland. We're polling towards, we're polling about split, which means a lot of people are betting Oakland here. What the fuck am I missing?
4 homers in his last 3 for Taj Bradley, giving up power to righties. Still inducing ground balls, but they're finding gaps, giving up 15 in his last 3. Velocity a tick down ever so slightly.
I think
strikeout stuff's still somewhat intact, but again, Oakland, this is just a pesky ball club that at home has just been raking over the last month and a half, 2 months. And it is truly just a spot for me where they get Brent Rooker back into this lineup and everything is fixed. You take Brent Rooker out of this lineup and you have problems. So it'll be, I don't agree that you should be getting like plus 115 from yesterday or plus 109 right now here on the Oakland side of things. It's just too good to pass up.
Yeah, and someone said Tampa just played 11 innings and traveled to the West Coast. I get that.
I really can't add much to what we've already said, but Bradley hasn't been good. I just think he's getting a little bit tired. I don't think we're always going to see 5 or 6 runs from him. But again, the control isn't really there. He's going to get swing and miss. That is what it is. But like Lindy said, with Rooker back in the lineup, Tampa having to travel after that. And honestly, I said that Tampa was dead before that Arizona series. I don't know what the hell happened to Arizona in that series, but it is what it is. But I'm more than happy to start fading Tampa again after this. So shout out Zach Gallen on the road, and shout out Snakes for losing 3 in a row. So let's go Oakland.
All right, best of luck. I'm not betting it. Next up, the White Sox. I wanted to take the White Sox plus 2.5 at minus 105 for yesterday.
I did bet the Padres. I bet the Padres and the Giants on the money line in a parlay as a small bet. That's what I did.
Wow, so you weren't even going to tell the viewers?
I wasn't.
It was a secret bet.
I was trying to pull an Andy. Didn't work out.
Andy can hear you.
There's never... Oh man, the amount of times it's like, oh, well, I bet this by myself. And it's like, oh, then there's no winning. There's only losing in those situations because somebody's mad. So.
Yeah, Andy does that all the time. Like in the middle of a baseball game, he goes, oh, I have a hit parlay with that guy. Big dude, we have a betting group. Like, why don't you share it?
Yeah.
Just
takes 2 seconds, but I was busy. I had stuff to do.
He places secret bets. All right, so White Sox, Giants in San Francisco. Kyle Harrison getting the start. You guys have anything you want to say here?
I will say Kyle Harrison, not a guy that I love, but at home he's a guy that I trust. Last 4 home starts, 2.31 ERA, 0.90 WHIP, 3.27 xFIP. Pretty decent. And not to mention he's going to be facing one of the worst lineup in baseball. So Giants at home are usually a look for me in general. Not that I play them every day that they're at home, but 36-27 at home compared to 27-36 on the road. So when you do play San Francisco, play them definitely at home. San Francisco's got everybody in their bullpen ready to go. I played those 2 together. It was a small slate, is what it is.
Someone said Lindy looks like the type of guy who listens to the clean version of rap songs.
Go coming up, I was confused. My mama kissing a girl. Confusion occurs coming up in a cold world. Daddy ain't around, probably out committing felonies. My favorite rapper you see. Check out my melody. I want to live good, so shit, I sell dope. Finger ring with one of the gold ropes.
He's rattling it off. That was the unedited version, so whoever said that was wrong.
Old Dre from the gate, I carry the heat for you. First mixtape solo, got inherited before you. Credit my G for you, G for you. Put Compton on my back when you wasn't needed soldiers.
Is that code for you're backing Jonathan Cannon here on the road?
No.
That sounded like a Jonathan Cannon endorsement.
Sounded like it.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. We're not doing that. It's over or pass. 8. These are once again just starting pitchers that I don't think you want to take the money that you make at your place of employment and put it on either one of them to succeed. Like, that's really what it comes down to. I just look at Harrison as a guy that has just been, I mean, I had him on my dynasty team for however long in AAA because his strikeout stuff was incredible, looked awesome. And then you see it in the bigs, and immediately the changeup didn't get swing and miss the way that it was supposed to. And the four-seamer, he's throwing like 60% of the time, and it's a trash four-seamer. And I just don't see him being very successful long-term. He might be like a middle reliever arm that you just convert and try to have him throw more changes. But there's just nothing that they should be that excited about with Kyle Harrison right now. It's sad.
All right.
He's one of the few guys that can throw essentially 2 pitches and still has a starting job.
Yep. He's got to throw the changeup more because you can't get away with having a four-seamer. He has like this, the slurve thing that is just like awful. 517 expected slugging against, 286 expected batting average against. So he's got a iteration of that coming off of the four-seamer, but he's basically a 2-trick pony, and those 2 tricks are bad tricks.
Mariners, Dodgers in LA. We're finishing off with probably the best game of the night, right? This is a cool one here. That is if you still consider the Seattle Mariners a respectable organization, which I have to say I don't. So I didn't bet this one. I'm open to suggestions if you guys want to try to sell me either way, but it better be the way of the Dodgers because I won't do it.
The Dodgers, like this is Star Wars.
Embrace the way of the Dodgers.
Kind of like that.
I know Toast bet the bum ass Mariners, by the way.
That's why I said Lindy go first.
You see what he said?
Sure did.
He was like, Lindy, go first, because he doesn't even want to admit it.
I like the
I
under.
want to go.
I think both pitchers are. I mean, Brian Woo's been one of the best starters in baseball at run prevention since he got back. The strikeout stuff hasn't translated as much, but I don't really care. He's been so damn good that I was surprised to see 8 as the posted opening number here. I want to see where it moved to because I know there was some 8.5s lingering. Yeah, still sitting under 8. You can get it -102 over at DraftKings, and that is just too good for me to be passing up. I like the 8 getting the under there as opposed to 8.5 because that half run doesn't matter as much when you're talking about 15 cents of juice. It just makes sense. A 4-4 game is going to go over anyway. So what are you getting the half run for in some of those situations? It lowers your range of outcomes ever so slightly. So I like the -102 you're getting there. Gavin Stone, I think, is going to be functional for these Dodgers. And if he's not, this is a Dodgers team that got some actual innings from Clayton Kershaw for the first time. So that was fun for the Los Angeles Dodgers to be backing it there. Toaster wearing a Dodgers jersey. So, I mean, this is
wearing
it says coming with Seattle.
They're making fun of Ohtani. It says deferrals.
Oh.
Toast would have that shirt. Toast would be that shirt sold 8 different copies of it. Toast has one of them.
Yeah. And I think the other 7 belong to his former interpreter.
All right, Toast. For everyone who don't know, Toast has already shared his ticket in the Discord, and he bet the Seattle Mariners.
Huge starting pitching advantage for me with Brian Wu over Gavin Stone. Not to mention the fact that I don't know if we're going to see Freddie Freeman tonight, which would be huge because if there is one thing that Brian Wu does struggle with is a little bit more with lefties more than righties. And Freddie Freeman's a pretty damn good lefty.
What about Gavin Lux?
He wasn't.
Oh, buddy. What a goat call. Who did that on? Oh, that was me.
Yeah, that was sick.
Lux is very good as well, but he's not Freddie Freeman. Gavin Lux has had 2 good months. Let's just pump the brakes.
But those months are right now.
He is officially goated in this channel, though.
That is true. I will say that he is. I like Gavin Lux. I've always wanted him to succeed, so I don't.
Sounds like you're fading him, though.
No, I was just trying to make a point.
Tell me more about that, Toast.
That
Tell
the
me
Wu
more.
kid struggles with some lefty bats, and the Dodgers do have some big lefty bats in the lineup. But like I said, I don't know what we're going to get out of Freeman if he's going to or if he's going to play, because he has a finger issue and they had to travel last night. So I don't know if we see Freddie Freeman or not. And if that's the case, then it's that Dodgers lineup isn't as scary as you would think. And then on top of that, look at the Dodgers bullpen. Like, who's going to pitch if Gavin Stone doesn't go deep into this game? Kopech's went 3 of the last 4 nights. Evan Phillips 2 of the last 3 nights. Daniel Hudson went 17 last night. And then I don't really worry about, actually, you know what? Banda's been pretty damn good for them. But Vesia, Kelly, Brazier, I don't really worry about those guys. So I think Seattle has a pretty significant starting pitching advantage and a bullpen advantage. I got them at plus 122 or something like that. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good spot for Seattle considering the pitching advantage.
Here's the problem with what you said.
There isn't a problem.
Yeah, there is, because you said, who's pitching the late innings of this game for the Dodgers? Implying that it matters. Need I remind you that there's a man named Kenta Maeda, and what he did a few days back to Seattle, it just showed me the current state of the organization, and to me, it doesn't matter who the Dodgers bring in. They can call up a double-A arm. It doesn't matter. Seattle cannot score runs. Their lineup cannot be trusted. This is way too short of a price to take them here. In fact, I want to bet the Dodgers.
Kopech's been the best pitcher in baseball since he got acquired by the Dodgers. Number 2, actually, technically, I still have him behind Clase, but Clase's also been getting work.
That's why he's not available though, so I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't even know if he is not available. He might be.
I do,
bro.
There's no way in hell that, you know what? Like,
pissed them off now.
No, it's just they're in the middle of a playoff race. There's 19 games left. He's worked 3 out of 4 nights.
I just watched Clase pitch 17 straight
Rocco
nights.
Baldelli, and he's not Stephen Vogt, a first.
Stephen Vogt has no. He is literally Tom Thibodeau. He is Tom Thibodeau.
I'm just saying, like Dave Roberts.
Shit.
Oh, Jabo's in the thing and in the chat, by the way, and he's from Washington State. He's a Mariners fan. 1 freaking hit versus Maeda. As a Mariners fan, I agree with Kyle. There you go. I'm betting the Dodgers
too, by the way.
I'm betting the Dodgers, and it's honestly it's out of spite here to prove a point.
Just take the under, join me, because I don't think runs are going to get scored very much.
It's all right.
Exactly.
I need to.
And what games do Seattle win? They win the 3-2 ball games. That's what Seattle Mariners baseball.
Go ahead and let them. Just make sure it's 3-2, or I'm coming.
No.
Maybe it's 4-2.
Dodgers up, betting it. All right. Anyway, let's move on to the. Let's do a community parlay, and then we'll move on to the Seattle Seahawks. We just want to bet the Dodgers and put it in the Discord to show Toast that I stand on what I believe in.
Stand on what you believe in.
I sure hope Freddie Freeman plays tonight.
I don't need him.
I don't.
I need the Dodgers to score 1 run, and I think I'm good.
I need no runs. Just 1-0 earthquake game. Just end it.
I think the Dixie Chicks are coming to play tonight. You know what that means? You know what that means.
All right, good. I'm in. All right. Let's do a quick community parlay. Here's the song.
Community parlay, the parlay we bet, yeah. Community parlay is for the community. We come unite, making a parlay. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
He's traveling right now.
50-50.
Okay.
All right, community parlay. Then we'll get into the Seahawks first with Just a Bet Outside coming on. Then the Cardinals with me, Scoop, and Andy. And then me and Andy are doing 4 Big 12 teams. So that's the agenda for those of you sticking around for some football. All right.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Max Muncy, they want to see him go through pregame warmups and stuff like that before they make any calls. That's what I was told.
Yeah.
Diamondbacks they voted for. And
I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you.
All right, cast your votes. While they're voting, Lindy, want to tell the nice people watching where they can find your stuff?
Yeah, hop over to oddshopper.com. You can also follow me on X at Eric Lindquist. We just got the Oddshopper, the Insider Marketplace going, so I'm firing up a bunch of plays day in, day out in the MLB streets. Looking forward to being able to just being more present. Like, it's just basically a channel that I get to have that's my own. Everybody gets their own individual channel, and you can reach out to your communities. If anybody's interested in joining or anything of that nature, head over to X go follow OddsShopper, and there are going to be some great opportunities for content creators, for other contributors to be able to add their fuel to the fire over there over at OddsShopper. So appreciate having you on, my dude, or having me on, I suppose. It was lovely, and I rapped. So
yeah, that was unforgettable. And that's his Twitter right there on the screen. It says it right under, it's spelled just like that.
Thanks.
All right. First leg of, oh, actually, this is pretty close. I'm giving you guys 5 seconds to get your votes in because this one's pretty close. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pull. And it is Astros money line.
Shocked again, I tell you.
It's a great pick. The community knows. Astros are a great pick tonight. Community parlay. Astros money line. Okay. Let's get this red off here.
Real say it's so weird. I used to make so much money betting against Yusei Kikuchi, and now to just like be neutral on something feels wrong.
I mean, the baseball season is going to do this 100 times with every single angle. And I'm with you. A month and a half ago, it was like Kikuchi over or fading. Like
over fading, pretty much. Pretty much.
So the next group of teams, did they like the Pirates or the Rangers there? Probably the Rangers. Angels, Royals. Twins, Padres. They like the Padres. Rays, Athletics. They like fucking Oakland. They liked your guys' Oakland pick. Not for real.
Did Jake Berger light up for you at all today, or no?
The way of the Athletics doesn't sound nearly as good as the Dodgers, but it is what it is.
Isn't Jake Berger killing the ball toast?
Jake Berger is killing the ball. Confirmed.
Did he light up for you at all? I'm just trying to understand why I'm only getting a. Never mind.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, there's some short numbers on Jake Berger on a day in, day out basis lately.
Okay, so that makes more sense then.
That's Royals by a mile, by the way. So
I think Shea Langoliers hits a home run tonight, by the way.
I very much like him.
You think who hits a home run?
Shea Langoliers.
Are you guys trolling me, making up names?
Nope. Swing from the Langoliers.
He said, "You guys trolling me?"
I think Ricky Scorpix is gonna hit one tonight. Making up names.
Dirk Diggler. Let's go. There's actually a Diggler now too, which is hilarious. Go Tigers. Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. We did it.
He's on that got boy.
Bro, you know how he got in trouble, Coach O, with like whatever, like young girls and all that. I don't think underage girls or anything, but like girls in the school. We did a whole bit of like his voice hitting on girls that was so fucking. We always quote it. Like, you want to be a real tiger? Like. It's like I can't redo the whole bit, but there was a group of us, and for like 10 minutes we were doing Coach O hitting on young girls in his voice, and it was like unforgettable. Come on, you want to be a real tiger?
Want to go through drills? Let's go.
That championship.
You hit that line, girl. Yeah.
It's funny because as soon as you said that, I could see a picture of him on the beach with his shorts and his like super tan body with the girls laying on there. I can just see it in my head. You guys won't be real tight.
I will say his story about getting fired is the funniest thing of all time. Him just basically being like, "Oh, tell me which exit you want me out of." Like just basically being like, "Oh, you're gonna give me that much money to not coach next year? Right. Sounds great." I will politely walk out the door.
Yeah, that was funny. And nothing against Coach O. If you're like a fan of him, it's just jokes. But like, can I get odds on this, please? We got Astros.
On this, please.
Astros, Royals, Dodgers, Giants is the community parlay. Astros, Royals, Dodgers, Giants. Come on now, you want to be a real tiger?
Astros, Royals, Dodgers,
Giants.
4 parlay, 485. 489 on Caesars or FanDuel.
Plus 489. The community went with they're looking for a single here. I like it. A little conservative. Astros money line, Royals money line, Dodgers money line, Giants money line plus 489. All right. Lindy, thanks for joining. Toast. Talk to you soon.
Have a good night, guys.
Let's talk some Seattle Seahawks ball. First, let me switch the names up. We got Scoop and Steve coming on. It looks like Steve's already here. I got to send Scoop the thing to join too. And Steve, just about outside, He's from Washington State, Seahawks fan. So I'm letting him roll with this. I'm just going to try to put up the appropriate graphics of what he's talking about. Because I just want to hear his perspective on it. I'm bringing Scoop on too. He might have a couple things to say, but as a whole, we're just trying to get inside the mind of a Seahawks fan here. That's the goal. Oh God. Oh Lord.
Well, I mean, the Mariners were supposed to take us all the way to September, but they couldn't do it.
No, they couldn't. And I had a big bet on them in that Kenta Maeda game. Big bet on them.
Oh God, dude.
My bet of the day. And the whole time. Even when I think it was 1-0 in the 8th inning, I was like, we're good. It's fine. And then Kenta Maeda pitches 5 innings and change, 1 hit. And then you bring in Munoz, who gives up a 2-run home run on the first batter. It's just like...
because they didn't pitch Munoz for 5 or 6 days straight for some reason. And then all of a sudden he comes in and, it's Javi Baez of all people. My God.
Tell Scoop I sent him the link, Andy. I did send it to him. All right. So, Seahawks. Scoop's going to be joining us any second, and he'll jump in midway. So, what are your thoughts on? I mean, this is a new era in Seahawks football.
Here's what I'll say about Seahawks, and I think a lot of Seahawks fans think this is I'm excited as hell, and not because they're going to win a Super Bowl or anything like that, but for the first time, we don't have this predictable freaking team going out on the field. And with Pete Carroll, that's what we had. Our defense, this predictable cover 3, 3rd and 1. Our DBs are still 10 yards off receivers, and we just continue to give up yards all the way down the field. It's just been it's kind of old and stale. And Carroll is still living off that kind of Legion of Boom. He thinks he can kind of just fit anybody into this type of defense, and we realized he couldn't do it. And it was just so what I'm excited about is, first of all, going from the oldest head coach to the youngest head coach in NFL. Is just a kind of a good excitement around here already. But, it all starts with the quarterback, obviously, in the NFL. And we have maybe as average of quarterback as you can get. You can have worse, you can have better. He's going to win you a couple games, going to lose you a couple games. But for me, I'm excited because I've heard great things about Mike McDonald. And that's really where it starts. And I know Beaver, I think, talked about how much he likes him. Loves him. Yeah. So is he a Ravens guy?
No,
Beaver,
he's a Jets fan.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So that's what I'm excited about, at least in that part. But the hard thing about this year is that, we have all new head coaches. We have a defensive coordinator, Aiden Dirty. First of all, I think is how you say it. He's the first British-born defensive coordinator in NFL history, for whatever that's worth. It's just fun to listen to him talk. And then we got Ryan Grubb from UW. You college guys might know about him. What I was kind of interested to hear about, Grubb has coached. He's been the running backs coach at San Diego State, the wide receivers coach, a run game coordinator, O-line coach, QB coach, and offensive coordinator. This guy has coached every freaking position there is.
And not just the different positions, but those you just described offenses that are almost the complete opposite. San Diego State, they like to run the football. And then last year with Washington, that's one of the biggest air raid college football offenses we've seen in recent years. Like the Joe Burrow LSU team air raid type shit.
So that's what I was going to ask you guys, what you guys think Ryan Grubb is going to bring to you college guys.
It's hard to say because, how much of that offense last year with Washington was Ryan Grubb and DeBoer, and how much of it was their personnel? They had an NFL quarterback and NFL receiving weapons. Sometimes you just coach the team you have. So I feel like it's impossible to predict. And the thing is, Seattle does have the personnel as far as the quarterback that we know can make tough throws. I'm not the hugest Geno Smith guy in the world, but no question he's got a lot of arm talent. They have receivers. They have for years. So maybe they're going to try to do that. I really don't know what to think, but they made obviously the hire was a defensive hire. You would think if you get Mike McDonald that you want to run the football, you control the clock, keep that defense fresh as hell. That's usually when you're going to be a defensive football team or make a hire like Mike McDonald, that's usually the mold you go into. But Seattle last year, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it a really disappointing season running the ball? Because I'm pretty sure we had high hopes for the Seattle rushing attack last year, and it just didn't pan out. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're right. It was some O-line issues, injuries here, things like that, but it was a disappointment overall. And I think we see Kenneth Walker, as long as it comes down to the O-line, and that's a big weakness we got. I'm not going to lie. We're just not very good. They were 28th, I believe, in quarterback pressure percentage allowed. It's just not pretty. So it's going to come down to that. But I think Kenneth Walker, I don't know what you guys think about him, but I like him. I think he's got good vision. I think he's a really good running back. Is he going to get the holes? I don't know. But like you said, this team is loaded at wide receiver. For a team that nobody really thinks is going to do anything, wide receiver is where it's at. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think we forget about. He was maybe the best receiver to come out of that draft when he went.
He was.
And he just didn't get a lot of time. I think the play calling, the usage of him was just awful. He's not a bad receiver. I mean, he is a stud. He can run every route in the field. I think we're loaded there, but does it matter if your O-line is weak, if your quarterback's average? We'll see. But I think what you said is actually what I'm interested in is the offensive coordinator, Grubb. Maybe he did what he did because of the personnel he had. So to finally have an offensive coordinator that can actually look at his players and do that instead of what Pete Carroll did, which is just fit all these players into a box at all times and play conservative offensively, defensively. It was just frustrating. So I am interested to see that. But yeah, we're loaded in the skill position. So that does help a little, I guess, right?
Yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba, people forget, he was the wide receiver one on that Ohio State team that had Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave on it. And Smith and Jigba was the man. And he was a year younger than them. He was the man. Yeah, he's got crazy amounts of talent.
Fantasy breakout.
Scoop, I know you came on to talk about the Cardinals, but any thoughts on the Seahawks offense?
Yeah. What's up, guys? I mean, no more Pete Carroll. I don't know how you feel about that personally, but I actually think it's great. I mean, I think, Mike McDonald, defensive coordinator from the Ravens, did a great job, and he has a good track record. I mean, I'm not sure how it's gonna, translate, but I mean, Ryan Grubb has 2 awesome years at Washington, like you guys already said. I don't know how that's going to translate either, but I mean, scoring defense, they were 25th, total defense, they were 30th. So you have to admit, I mean, McDonald's going to help that, obviously. I mean, and he's a good coach for player development. I mean, he took a Ravens team that he had a couple players that were struggling on their defense last year. He coached them up. I think Van Noy, he did awesome with him. I think the problem is going to be pretty much I think the defense is going to be in a little rough shape, but that's why you got him as a coach. I mean, it's not going to be as bad as last year, I wouldn't think. I think it's going to be an improvement. I'm glad they signed Leonard Williams. Obviously, that's a big, after that trade from the Giants, I think that's going to be good for you guys. But Bobby Wagner's gone. I know that's a little rough, and overall, I know Geno was down from last year. There was a massive turnover. I mean, Geno's got hurt in camp, I think, a couple weeks ago, maybe.
Did he really? I didn't even know that.
I mean, he's still going to play. He's going to play one, but he may be behind a little bit for his new coaches. And I know Lucas and Cross are still there on the tackles.
That's it.
I mean, they have the skill possessions on offense. I mean, Kenneth Walker, hope he does good. He's on my dynasty team for the last 2 years. So I actually really like him. Smith and Jigba, Walker, he had a great year last year. So outside the the tackles are good. I don't know about the whole middle of the line. Laken Tomlinson is garbage. So he was
garbage.
He was such a bad garbage. I don't know if that's because of the Jets, obviously, or I don't know if that's because he's just not a good player. And I know Connor Williams was hurt all last year, so I think Haynes might end up starting for Tomlinson personally. I think this team's offensively is going to be great. I think Geno's going to take a step up and do better than he was from 2023. I think Geno Smith needs to get out of the pocket more. I think he's a decent scrambler, and he doesn't do badly out of the pocket. He doesn't make bad throws. He's smart with the ball. So, I mean, I think this team's going to be a little better. I still don't know if it's going to be over their 7.5 because, the first 10 games was. I know we're going to go over it, but I think it's rough.
I have to say the Seahawks defense last year and entering an NFL season, we're all going to be right about a lot of things. We're all going to be wrong about a lot of things. I think the unit that I might have been the most wrong about was the Seahawks defense last year. At the end of the 2 seasons ago, the 2022-2023 year, the defense seemed to get their shit together. They were actually stopping the run a little bit. And then entering 2023, they add Bobby Wagner. And I was like, what? This defense, I was big on the Seahawks defense entering the season last year. That had to be the most disappointing. And I'm curious from a Seahawks fan, because as somebody on the East Coast that has no allegiance to the Seahawks, I thought your defense was going to be great last year, and I couldn't have been more wrong.
I didn't think it was going to be great, but I agree with you. No one saw a bottom 5 defense. I mean, they were absolutely horrendous. And it started with just getting pressure. They couldn't get any freaking pressure on the quarterback. It drives me up a wall. And this is what I've been saying for year after year. Like, you will see so many 3rd and 1s, and we don't have anybody on the line of scrimmage, nobody pressing receivers. We have everyone sitting back because Pete Carroll and them, they were in the bend, don't break. They don't care how many yards they give up. They just want to clamp you down when it comes to the red zone, is how they look to play.
Yeah, plus Jaron Reed was like such a good pass rusher, and he just couldn't stop a run like whatsoever. I just couldn't understand.
He was terrible. And actually curious to hear from college guys. Byron Murphy, the D tackle from Texas. How much do we like him? Because everything I've seen is freaking
I love him. Yeah, I think he's gonna start. I mean, I don't think he might not start the first week or so, but he's definitely going to get into the starting lineup.
I don't know much about the individual players, but I know Texas run defense was an absolute problem last year, and they played a schedule with a lot of powerful rushing attacks and still put up elite numbers against the run. But I don't really look at individual, like I couldn't tell you about Brian Murphy individually, but I know he was the anchor on what was top 5 run defense last year in the FBS. So.
Yeah, plus you guys have great. I mean, I really like your corners. I mean, your corners are great. Witherspoon, Jackson, Woolen.
I'm a huge Witherspoon guy. I think he's a stud. I think Witherspoon is so good. So yeah,
I know you have new safeties, but I mean, as long as your corners can do as good as they did last year, I think you'll have a great secondary.
Yeah, it's going to come down to pass rush for me. We only had one edge rusher last year with over 5.5 sacks. It was Mafe. I mean, it's absolutely rough. I was trying to see what Mike McDonald did, and I realized last season, as the Ravens defensive coordinator, he called 5 DB packages, which is nickel, 79% of the defensive snaps. So,
and you like that?
I think for how we're equipped and how we're built, I probably do. But it's still going to come down to D-tackle. What you have to do is you got to get pressure with 4 guys up there. You know what I mean? You can't only get pressure when you blitz, and we had a lot of blitzes where we didn't get pressure either, and that's why we got burnt constantly. But it comes down to the D line. I think they're weak, but our DBs are good. DBs, as you guys know, are only good if their D line can actually get to the quarterback, because everybody can get open after a few seconds finally. So. And that's where we struggle. So we'll see. We'll see what Mike McDonald brings to the table.
Yeah, I think it's a good hire. It's just whether or not it translates in the first year. With that, should we play the win-loss game?
Plus, he's so young. He's only 37, so.
I know, it's crazy. I'm older than the head coach.
I did not know that Mike McDonald's the youngest coach in the NFL. That when you said that, that was, which is honestly, and you should never throw a blanket on anything like this. But I think theoretically, if I'm an NFL GM, I'm trying to find a young, creative mind. And you know what? But I was wrong, because I hated the Cowboys Mike McCarthy hire. And I actually think that's turning out to be a pretty good hire. I think he's done a good job with that team. So I was like, no, I don't want a washed up guy. I want a Sean McVay. I want a Mike McDaniel. Like, I want one of the young, creative guys. Even a D'Amico Ryans. Like, give me a young guy that's like ahead of the curve. And I don't think you should blanket that assumption. But as a whole, I do like because I think a lot of football coaching comes down to, like, are you a step ahead of your counterpart mentally? Like, are you? And so, yeah, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if he can bring as much energy as Pete Carroll at age 99 that he was, just chewing that gum. But we'll see.
He chewed very aggressively.
He did. But we have I think it's good just because when you have a coach that long, like your word kind of gets stale in the locker room. You know what I mean? Now we got this 37-year-old. We'll see what he brings. But again, like you said, the young coaches are usually those offensive wizards now that are getting that's Mike Mack. So.
No, but you know what? Wow, blanket on the name. The Bills guy. He's defensive though, and they hit on him. What the hell is his name? McDermott. Duh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fried. All right, let's talk about the schedule. Week 1 against Denver. Sean Payton's going to do a lot of those quick hits, but I like the pieces in the Seattle defense to combat that a little bit. You got to think at home that's probably a win,
Better be.
It fucking better. It better be. At New England, win.
Just so you know, we're going to be 2-0 to start the year, and people are going to lose their mind.
Oh, God. Because you're quickly going to be 2-2.
Yeah.
So you're 2-0, then you're 2-2. Miami, I love Miami this year. I don't like their schedule, so I haven't placed a future bet because I really don't like. Actually, we talked about the Dolphins, Steve.
Yeah, I chose under. You chose over.
Oh yeah, no, Scoop was on for that day.
Quick question on that then, Kyle. what is it about the Dolphins? As we've seen the last 2 years, I know they're great offensively, but the last 2 years they've just completely faded. I know it's injuries, but what do you see about McDaniel and them actually getting over the hump?
Well, I think the defense, I think they got better in every single area of the game. I mean, they had the best offensive football last year, and they have all the same pieces. And I don't think I even need to sell you on the Dolphins offense. You guys know what it is.
No.
And
but they suck against good defenses. So that's where
do they suck against good defenses, or do they suck in the bad weather? Because there's a couple games that cross over there. Because there's also a few instances where they cook the good defense. But yeah, struggled against some good defenses at times. What offense hasn't sputtered against good defenses? And I think there's an aspect to the Miami Dolphins where a lot of people are looking to call bullshit on it, where like they get some unfair criticism where it's like, oh, they didn't score 40 points every single week. But I think the defense is going to take a huge step forward this year. I don't think people realize that they got both their edge rushers were out the entire season last year. And yeah, they lost Van Ginkel, who was the man for them last year, but Jordan Phillips is back. They got both of the guys back. They also made a veteran signing. Jalen Ramsey healthy to start the year. Once Jalen Ramsey came back from injury, they had one of the best man coverage pass defenses in the NFL. So I think the Dolphins defense takes a huge... What are we doing? We're talking about the Dolphins.
I'm just curious. Yeah, I got you. Okay.
The only thing about the Dolphins I'm hesitant about is if you look at your schedule, at the Dolphins schedule, you're like, what the fuck? Like, I love the Dolphins this year. I think they might be one of the best teams in the NFL. I put them in the top 3 as far as talent. Their schedule, they're at 9.5 wins, and I'm hesitant to bet the over because it's like, are you kidding me?
Brutal schedule. Yeah.
So let's talk Seahawks. So we're saying 2-2 after the Detroit game. Home Giants is a win. Home San Francisco. No,
I mean, Seahawks have a good home.
I think they'll
field,
take one
but
against the Niners.
It's so hard to take 2 in San Francisco.
They had a good home field advantage, and they don't have it now because when you don't play defense, you don't have a home field advantage. But it's just been ugly against the 49ers. I think they can take one against the Rams, but I don't think they take any.
So you got the 49ers sweeping you.
Yeah, I do.
All right. So that means you're at 3-3. I think he'll take that 49ers. I honestly think whatever. We'll say 3.
One of the next 2.
No. How about this? We'll say 3-3 because you're saying the 49ers is a loss. I'm saying they could win, but I also think they could drop one of the Denver, New England ones. So let's say 3-3 collectively.
Okay.
At Atlanta,
it's a swing game. It's one of those. I don't know.
You're coming off 3 extra days rest. I like that. Atlanta.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Atlanta's offense is going to look like this year. I mean, because Arthur Smith's gone, and it's like, so can we even expect Atlanta's offense to resemble? I mean, Kirk Cousins instead of Ritter.
Yeah.
What is that? I feel like Atlanta's is like the ultimate, like, good luck trying to make a prediction and put any money down on this team right away. So,
I agree. It's hard to predict. Yeah, Bijan's the greatest player to ever play. So
how about this? They'll go 1-1 in the Falcons Bills. We'll take one, drop one. So that's 4-4. 0-2 says Scoop.
Yeah.
So me and Steve have him at 4-4. Scoop's at 3-5. Home against the Rams, we'll give him it 5-4.
I got 4-5 to the bye.
All right. At San Francisco, loss. Home Cardinals win. At Jets in December.
Yeah,
it's a tough
probably
one.
not great.
Is Aaron Rodgers still healthy? Is the Jets
Dude, I told you the Jets are the most confusing team.
No, Falcons first. Jets are close.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
How about this? They drop either the Jets or the at Arizona the following week. They lose one.
That makes sense.
So that puts us where are we at? So that's 5-4, 5-5, 6-4. That puts us at 7-5. No, 7-6.
Oh, 6 is it? Okay, yeah. 5-4 heading to the bye.
Then
5-5 San Fran, and then
6-5 Cardinals.
And then 6-6. So
yeah, 7-6 because I'm giving him one of those wins and one of those losses. Home against Green Bay, 7-6 going into that game.
It's Sunday Night Football. Okay, so I don't know what that means.
I mean,
but
loss.
You're definitely going over then. If you got 7-6 with 3 games left, you better go over.
Yeah, I'm over here. I'm over here.
Yeah. Do you remember the last primetime game against the Packers?
No, what was
Seattle? The replacement refs, Hail Mary.
Oh wow,
it's a beauty.
It was a beauty. It was a beauty. I'm putting over 7.5 wins up for me. Steve, are you putting it?
It is 7.5, still too low in my opinion. And it's Chicago, Minnesota. We end with I think 7.5 is too low. I think they can take, but what is it? -1, isn't it juice though?
Minus 140 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, not a bet. If you believe in the Seahawks, maybe you bet them to make the playoffs. But it's going to be right around 500. But I'm excited to see what we have different, and I just want to see improvement. Really, is all it is. So,
do you have under, Scoop?
I actually have over because I have them at like 8 and 9.
Wow, all three of us on the over. This is a Seahawks program, apparently, not intentionally.
Well, I mean, look, they went 9 and 8 last year, and that was a bad year. So
yeah,
I think they get 8. I think they get right around 8-9 wins, which is about how many runs the Mariners score per month. So I think that's right there. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on to the Cardinals. By the way, so just a bet outside. That's his Twitter name right underneath his face. He has a YouTube channel where he uploads daily content, really good stuff. Be sure to go give him a follow and check out. Are you still uploading baseball videos right now?
Oh yeah, every single day the grind doesn't stop.
Yeah,
all in my eyes.
Yeah, I would invest in a toast to take a lot of that off your shoulders.
No kidding, I need it.
All right,
yeah,
Steve.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
All right, later. See you.
All right, next up, Cardinals. So first, we got to get Andy on the screen.
From the first time the doctor placed you in my arms, I knew I'd be dead before I let you be harmed. Although questions arose through my mind, would I be man enough against wrong, choose right, and be standing up?
What are you doing?
That's just the two of us from Willard Carroll to Smith II off the Big Willie style album.
Yeah. Why are you? What do you?
I just wanted to. I thought we were rap battling, so I wasn't sure.
Your camera's way off, Andy.
It's about the extent of what I have.
There you go. Now aim it down a little bit. All right. So Arizona Cardinals. Let's go ahead and get it up on the screen.
Shoo.
Same coaching staff back. Oh, you know what? Let's get. By the way, I said Geno Smith bounce back year in the poll. 39% said yes. 61% said no. He's done.
Oh, I don't appreciate the Geno slander.
Do you have some kind of loyalty to Geno?
I just love Geno. He's an average quarterback, and he got so much shit for the Jets. So
I just love Geno. He's an average quarterback.
I just like. By the way, I ran the 40 yesterday at Fanatics Fest, and I
saw
think
it
I
on
have
your
a grade
Facebook.
1. I have a grade 1 strain in my hammy. It's bad.
I saw he posted it on Facebook, him running the 40-yard dash, and he's like literally stretching out his quads before. I was like, dude, this dude's taking really seriously.
Dude, I rode 5.8 though. I'm under a 6, so pretty good.
I saw the clip. It wasn't athletic looking.
No, it was bad.
All right, Cardinals up at 7.5, and a lot of now you might say Seahawks at 7.5, Cardinals at 7.5. Look at the odds. 7.5 juice heavily to the under here. So they're not at the same, but they're close. And me and Andy actually put on a few Cardinals like season preview from Cardinals YouTube channels and Cardinals podcasts and stuff before. Now, obviously, the content we got from the Cardinals fan media are going to be very optimistic, as those types of channels are. But honestly, they were making some good points, and there's a couple people I heard. Forget what other channel we were watching, that people that are big on the Cardinals this year. I will say their season last year is a little bit. I don't think people realized that when Kyler Murray came back from injury, they actually weren't that bad. They really weren't that.
It wasn't that bad.
3-5, and I think they were like 4-3-1 against the spread too. Like they were covering, they were in games, and it really came down. Go ahead. Sorry,
no. And Kyler went 10 touchdowns, five picks, and he was at like a 66% completion rate, 1,800 yards. He didn't do bad at all. So with Kyler, it's a completely different team. So
Toast is in the comments saying he likes the Cards this year, but I don't know. Toast probably likes their
that's
kicker.
That's because the Mason Dixon line. He likes everything to the west.
Probably likes the Cards too.
The Mississippi.
Toast probably has their field goal over 31.5 field goals made this year or some shit. Look, this is what I'll say about the Cardinals. I think the entire season comes down to one aspect. I think we all know with a healthy Kyler Murray, throwing Marvin Harrison Jr., I like Michael Wilson. I think he's a little better than perceived. James Conner's aging a little bit, but still, we know that he could be a formidable running back. Offensive line should be improved. I think the offense will make some noise. It's not going to be a great offense, but I think no question the Cardinals' offense is not going to be an offense you completely sleep on. I don't think that's really even debatable with Kyler Murray healthy. We saw it last year. The question for the Cardinals season comes down to one thing. Are they going to be able to stop teams from running the football on them? And that's what it comes down to, because honestly, stopping the run is such a fundamental part of the football game that it almost doesn't even matter what the rest of your team is doing. If teams are ripping off 5 yards of carry on you and keeping your offense on the sidelines and just putting up consistent points in long drives, it doesn't matter. So that's the question we need to answer. Are the Cardinals going to be better against the run this year? Scoop?
I mean, it can't be worse. I mean, the Ojulari injury sucks for them.
That
I know
sucks.
It's such a big deal because I mean, yeah, they're.
But
they're
I think,
already
hold on,
a
I
mess,
think
though.
so the Ojulari injury, if you don't know who that is, that's their like up and coming pass rusher. He's very good. If he got hurt, he's out for the year. He was going to be a double digit sack guy, like he's serious. But he's more of a, I don't know if he necessarily is the hugest impact in the run game, or at least not the name that jumps out at you.
Yeah, no. I mean, they got Justin Jones for 3 years. I mean, there's no real risk there. Like I said, I literally feel like any defensive lineman is better than what they had. While Nichols is going to be good, Darius Robinson they just drafted. He's going to be an improvement on that line. I know LJ Collier only played one game last year, so you don't really know, how that's going to be. But even without the run defense, they only had 33 sacks too, I think, and everyone rushed on them. They, like you said, they were last in rushing yards per play. They were 32nd in defensive DVOA. It's going to get better. I just don't know how much it's going to get better. Defensively, obviously you said offensively, I think they're going to be a step up that easily there. But I don't know. Gardeck's getting old. You have to think Collins is going to have to step up. I don't know. It's going to be an improvement over last year, but I still think their run defense is going to be bottom 10 probably.
Yeah, it's not. They did bring in, like you said, all new pieces. The entire defensive front, now the 3 down linemen, they're all new for the Cardinals, which is good. And did you have any thoughts on the Cardinals run defense improvement?
I think.
By the way.
Oh, what did you?
I did. No, it didn't.
No, okay. I'm echoing, so I'm just gonna take my thing off.
there
But
we go.
can
That
you
makes
can hear me? All right. I like their first round pick, Darius Robinson. He's gonna be a beast. He's from Missouri, so I think that'll help. Obviously, that's a D lineman will help in the run defense. Also, Max Melton. He's more of a shutdown corner, but I think that can help a lot. Having guys that teams don't want to throw on, that can help. So, I mean, yeah, the players, they are all new, so they kind of have to gel together. But I do think in the draft they did a pretty decent job. I think Darius Robinson's going to be one of the sleepers of the draft. I mean, he was the 27th pick, so I think he'll be a pretty good sleeper there. That can help a lot. One guy can come in and change a lot. Obviously, losing Ojulari was brutal because they had a lot of hopes for him, and I think everybody did when he left LSU. But yeah, that's a tough loss. But I thought they did a pretty good job in the draft.
Yeah, they really there was only pretty much one significant loss from the Cardinals roster. The corner, Antonio Wilson, is it?
Hamilton.
Antonio Hamilton, he's gone. But like Andy said, they did add that kid Max Melton, who they think is good. And
from Rutgers. He's a beast.
There wasn't a lot of turnover for this team, really. I mean, not as much as the Seahawks we just talked about.
Yeah, so I like so overall consensus on the Cardinals. If I had to sum up how I feel in one sentence, as long as Kyler Murray stays healthy, I think the offense will be closer to average, maybe slightly below average, but not nearly towards the bottom 5, bottom 10 in the league. And the defense, if they can just climb out of the bottom 5, maybe.
I mean, we're gonna go over the schedule. That's rough, but I think they're gonna improve as a team overall. I still think. I think Trey Benson's going to end up starting over Connor, too, personally. I think he's going to have a down year. He's extremely fast, which might fit in better with Kyler Murray's type of offense. Jonah Williams, I think it is, the offensive lineman.
Yeah, from the Bengals.
Yeah, he should definitely help their line, too, if he's healthy. So, I really like their offense. If Dorsch can play like he did last year, they have a nice 1-2 with, obviously, Marvin Harrison. And you said I actually like Michael Wilson too, but I think they have a great offense. Trey McBride's not bad as he's an average tight end, but I don't think he's bad either. But I just think their defense is like you said, he's just gonna climb over anything anyone could pass on him, anyone can run on him. So it was pretty bad. So as long as they improve that, I think they're gonna have a better year.
So they are at 7.5. So let's go ahead. No. All right. So wait, why can't won't it let me stretch lower than that? Oh, that's why. 1 second. Let's get the schedule up on the screen and we'll play the win-loss game. So week 18. There we go. So here's the Cardinals schedule. Week 1, I was considering taking the 7 points, honestly. I'm not big on the Bills this year, and I don't think I think based on what happened in the second half of last year, a lot of people are expecting Brady to come in and just hand the ball off to James Cook 100 times, and they're just going to be this dynamic rushing attack. And I don't think that that's necessarily going to be as successful as they think. So I was actually considering Arizona +7. That being said, we're playing the win-loss game, and like obviously you'd have to think that's a loss, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The Cardinals schedule basically comes
The
down.
first 10 games is all rough, like in my opinion.
If the Cardinals have like 3 wins going into the bye week, they probably can get over 7.5 because the last chunk of their schedule is easy. But in that first chunk, pre-bye week, find some wins. Home against Washington.
Washington.
LA.
Home against the Rams.
Oh, I wasn't talking about that one. I was talking about the Chargers.
Dave, home against the Rams, home against the Chargers. These are winnable. Home against the Bears.
Bears aren't going to be a winnable.
I don't know. I think they get up 4 wins going into the.
I think 4 is going to be wins? Like the max.
They can beat the freaking Jets, bro.
I don't know what the Jets are going to be.
Yeah, no one knows what the Jets are going to be.
I feel like I can predict that the Bears are going to be like mid at that point, but the Jets could be like one of the best teams in the league.
Right. Well, they have the talent to be.
Or the
I
worst.
just don't know if it's going to be. Yeah.
Toast is saying, I'm telling you guys over. So, all right. If I'll take how many wins going into the bye week, Andy?
I have them at 3. I have them beating the Chargers, the Bears, and Washington.
That's 3.
I said 3.
Oh, okay. All right. Then after the bye week, you got 2 games against Seattle. They'll take 1. You got the Vikings. They can take that game.
I would hope they take that game at this point.
New England, they can take
Carolina.
that game. I mean, at Carolina, because you got to think when we're doing Carolina, we're looking at that game as one of their wins. But seriously,
so they have to win, what, 5 of those? They're not winning 5 of those.
I have them at
under.
6 wins.
That's why it's -1.
6 wins, so you're not even close.
Give me an alternate at 5 wins.
You guys are both under. I have. Here's the thing. I have them at 7, but that over +122. I'm not betting it. So I'll say if I was to bet this, if I was to bet this, I would take the over. But I'm not betting it just because of the +122, and I think there's 7.
You could get lucky and say the Jets are unhealthy and the Niners don't need that last game.
And the Niners don't need that last game, yeah.
But like, I wouldn't want to gamble on that.
Yeah, it's a tough one. So y'all say over. These 2 guys say under. All right. Talk some college football, Scoop.
Yeah.
Later.
Oh yeah, I'm taking those off.
Kansas State. Over 9.5 wins, under 9.5 wins. All right, poll is up for Kansas State. We're talking Wildcats, and in my opinion, the consensus for this one is the headline for the Kansas State Wildcats would be, for me, too much hype? ? That doesn't mean that I'm saying the answer to that is no. But let's go ahead and get into it. So Kansas State, Chris Kleiman back for his 6th season as head coach. Program just seems to keep getting better under his tenure. Last season was great. Another great season, 9-4, finishing ranked in the top 25. He did lose his OC, who's been with the program for a while. He's been with Kansas State during Chris Kleiman's entire tenure there. He's gone. He's at Texas A&M with Mike Elko now. I'm not sure how significant of a loss that is. But certainly you got a Kansas State team that's been powered by its offense for years, losing its offensive coordinator. It's definitely worth at least discussing. But I mean, Chris Kleiman is the guy who runs the offense. Amazing. So I don't know. Who knows how big of a loss that is, losing the OC. So they did lose their offensive coordinator. Connor Riley takes over as OC. I mean, he's been the offensive line coach there for years, so I'm not even sure how much of a change that is. I wish I knew more about these guys. It doesn't seem like there's much of a change. There's a new OC, but it's the guy who's been the O-line coach there for years. Returning production may be a concern, especially on offense. And this is where I'm saying, like, this team, it's not like Chris Clements had a successful tenure there. We all respect this Kansas State program, but it's not like we're always like, oh, that Kansas State defense. Like, it's a one-sided team. It's been powered by its offense for years. So you lose the OC, just 4 returning starters on the offense. I think there's at least a discussion about some concern here. The quarterback is gone. Will Howard's with Ohio State now, as I'm sure you guys already know. They like their guy, though. People are big on this kid, Avery
People
Johnson.
aren't just big on him. They love this kid.
They love him.
He's gotten... I mean, I've seen him on lists that I don't think Kansas State quarterbacks have ever been on. I mean, I think Will Howard was really good for them, but, like, they were ready to move on at this point. I think he was, too. But Avery Johnson has gotten hype to depths I've never seen before. So, yeah, they love him.
Yeah. So, yeah, Avery Johnson takes over as the quarterback. And, I mean... really good athlete. In the Pop-Tarts Bowl, he played well, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also rushed for 71 yards and a touchdown. I mean, this kid's got the talent, no question, high ceiling. But personally, I'm not going to go throw down money on this kid playing at a Heisman Trophy level. I don't know, a little bit unproven, I'd say. So you got the OC gone, new quarterback, just 4 returning starters on the offense. Now the running back is back, Giddens. He's back, over 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns last year, so he's back. That's huge. They lost their RB2, but they actually brought in Dylan Edwards from Coach Prime.
That was a great pickup.
That was
great
sweet.
pickup.
Yeah, so Kansas State is going to have probably the best 2-back combination in the Big 12.
In the Big 12, yeah, definitely. I thought Dylan Edwards was one of the most sneaky pickups because statistically, you don't look at him and he's crazy. He had about 400 yards last year. That's Colorado doesn't really run the ball. They were letting Shedeur sling it down the field every single play. Plus, they were also trailing for most of the second half of the season. So they weren't really running the ball. But he is a sneaky, really good pickup. So this is a really good
I also really like him in that role as the RB2, third down, catching out of the backfield because him in open field is crazy.
Yeah.
So, Kansas State... yeah, we expressed concerns about the offensive coordinator and the quarterback as far as unproven, but they're going to have the best 2-back system in the Big 12. I mean,
definitely.
Giddens is a beast, and then they had Dylan Edwards, who's just electric playmaker. Yeah. So, 2 very good running backs here at Kansas State. As far as the receivers, they lost their star tight end. He's with the Commanders now. He's actually a 2nd-round pick. I didn't realize he went that high.
Yeah.
You knew that?
Yeah, he was a pretty good player in college.
So their tight end went in the 2nd round of the NFL draft. So their star tight end's gone. He led the team in both yards and touchdowns receiving last year. Huge loss, no doubt. They also lost their wide receiver 1, Phillip Brooks. He's on the Chiefs. So they lost both their top 2 receiving weapons to the NFL. They do have a talented group coming back. They also brought in a kid from Penn State. Cephas is his name.
Kent State. And actually, there's a connection here.
Kent State.
No, it was Kent. And there's a connection. He comes in.
No, okay. He was at Penn State first, I think.
Okay, yeah. But he was at Kent State because he played
now
with...
I need to see it.
Okay. But this is what Phil still wrote. This is a connection because he reunites with an offensive coordinator he had at Kent State.
So he was okay.
The wide receivers coach. I'm sorry.
All right. So we're both right here.
Yeah, he played for both.
That's crazy. All right. So he was with Kent State for 4 years, and one of those years in 2021, the year you're talking about, he had 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Yes.
Last year he was with Penn State.
Yeah.
So we were both right. Actually, that's crazy.
He's reuniting with the wide receivers coach here at Kansas State was his OC there or a wide receiver coach there. So yeah, that's a little bit of familiarity. Jesus.
Familiarity?
Yeah, there you go. I can't say it. What the heck?
Man.
Jesus.
All right. So they got the receivers. They lost their 2 main receivers, but they should be pretty talented in that group. Here's where it just gets... I'm concerned about this offense. The offensive line's gutted.
Yeah.
4 starters gone, including Cooper Beebe, who I believe was an All-American last year. So they lost their 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen. One of them, the best piece they had. Look, it's Kansas State. It's not like they're going to have a bad offensive line. But it's definitely concerning. Remember, this is a program that's been powered by its offense for years. They don't win games by making stops. They win games by putting up 45 points. So I have a lot of questions about this offense. At least I have questions in terms of holding them to Kansas State standards. It's not like I'm saying, Kansas State's offense isn't going to win 7 games. I'm saying Kansas State is expected to be competing for the Big 12 championship, flirting with double-digit wins. And it's a team that's powered by its offense. So I'm certainly concerned that I have some questions about the offense, and there's a lot of question mark, a lot of unproven aspects of it.
Yeah, I tend to believe that. I mean, this team runs at a pretty good frequency anyway. They're 45th in run frequency. I think that's only going to get more. They're only going to run it more now that Avery Johnson can kind of run pretty well. Will Howard wasn't exactly that. I think the offense is going to change from that standpoint, and I think if everything goes perfectly, this offense will still be really good. The O-line, they'll gel together. I trust their coaching staff, but I mean, this is the type of offense that can't really take one injury. They can't afford, Avery Johnson to not be a star. Like, I think they're pretty much banking on things that we wouldn't usually see. So I'm with you. I think it's more of a question than people are just assuming, like you said, it's a climbing team. They're going to be a crazy offensive team, and we don't have to worry about that. But I mean, with a young quarterback, you have to worry about those things, and that's something I'm definitely a little bit more worried about the offense than I usually would be.
Right. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Kansas State defense, which is always the weakness of the team, it's not looking too bad. 3 of the top 4 back on the defensive line. Linebackers look okay. Secondary is apparently in really good shape. I'm pretty sure they only lost 1 starter in the secondary. So hear me out. The defense, they bring a lot of production back, a lot of starters back. So the offense, I think, takes a step back. The defense takes a step up. And it's not just that. Look at the way the team's built this year compared to in years past with Will Howard. You got a quarterback that can run the ball. Your 2 best players on the offensive side of the ball are running backs, or your 2 best playmakers, let's say.
Yep.
Tell me this isn't going to slowly transform into a run-first team.
100%.
Because they could trust their defense a little bit more, which means instead of seeing those game totals at 68.5 for Kansas State games, we might see 58.5.
Yeah.
Maybe play some Kansas State unders early in the season.
I think it's rare, but I think it's like Kleiman, who's a veteran now. He's kind of changed the way that this team's going to play. I mean, they are going to be a completely different team, try to control games a little bit more because they can trust their defense. Their defense isn't going to pressure quarterbacks much. They weren't really a good team at getting pressure there, but they were pretty good at their run defense, and they're only going to be better, I think. So, yeah, I like this defense more than I think I ever have for a Kansas State defense. So.
Yeah. So let's play the win-loss game.
Oh, boy. We go.
The moment of truth.
I actually don't have theirs written down. I don't remember who they play. I usually remember pieces of schedule. I don't remember who this team plays.
They play Iowa State.
Yeah, they're in the conference with them.
No, I was making a joke. They play them every year.
Yeah, that's why I said that. They start with UT Martin. That's right.
Heater to start the season. UT Martin. All right, so obviously win at Tulane. Win.
Weird one that's at Tulane. That Arizona one's going to be a great game.
Week 3's a scorcher, bro.
I think we gave Arizona the loss the other day, so I think to be we have to kind of give Kansas State
here.
I would take them in those.
You're bigger on Arizona than I am.
Yeah, I'm huge on Arizona, and I still think K-State's going to win that game because, like we said, Kansas State had a pretty good pass defense last year too, and returning a lot of those guys, Fafita's not going to be able to throw as much as he want to there. So, yeah, I think I'd side K-State.
Is Arizona
going to
be able to stop these 2 backs?
Probably not. No. So yeah, I think that's
3-0.
That gives 4-0. Obviously.
4-0.
I think.
Yeah, we go.
They're gonna. Ollie Gordon may run on this team a pretty good amount there.
Welcome to Gundyville.
Yeah.
That's a loss, week 5.
Yeah. That's a win. Not even gonna look at it.
Coach Prime.
That's a win. And West Virginia's
bye week.
Don't care. They could be coming off 4 bye weeks. They could be coming off 4 bye weeks. They're still losing this game by 30.
Yeah, you got to give. Honestly, if it wasn't for the bye week, I'd say maybe. But no. Coming off the bye week, that's a win.
Yeah.
At West Virginia.
It's gonna be a tough game, but I'll still side Kansas State. I do think that West Virginia's gonna be better than some people expect.
One that was
I really like West Virginia, but that doesn't mean I have them going 12-0.
Well, you seem so you got Kansas State going 12-0.
No.
All right, so that's 6-1 home against Kansas.
Sneaky one there.
Jesus, that's a loss.
Yeah, I think they lose those. I think they lose that one. They lose the Oklahoma State one, and that Iowa State one at the end of the year. I got them 9-3.
You have under.
Yeah. And I don't think that Arizona game will be super easy, but I'd side Kansas State in that game.
Yeah, I think I'll go under also.
Yeah. Which, I mean, when you're at 9.5 for a team like Kansas State, that's already a little bit of a higher number than they're used to, so that kind of makes sense. I mean, them being a 10-win team, they'd probably be in the playoff. They still might have a shot at the playoff anyway because they could win their conference, I think, with 9-3. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. That Kansas game's going to be a coin flip.
All right. Who's next?
Oh, this team sucks.
This
team sucks.
Hold on. No, you're wrong about this. I actually have some positive things to say about Cincinnati.
You should say them, then.
No, see, I think you're overly confident on West Virginia.
Yeah.
You need to reevaluate your look on West Virginia and give Cincinnati a second look.
Yeah. Okay.
First of all, one of the best coaches in the conference.
He's an awful coach.
Oh my God. Scott Satterfield is an awful
coach, dude.
Oh my God. So what happened? Why don't you like Scott Satterfield?
I don't know. It's just he's always kind of been a little bit overhyped in my opinion. I thought the hire was weird. They obviously had to hire somebody of a pretty big name. Satterfield does have a big name when they lost Fickle, but I something about his teams just don't resonate with me. When I watch his teams, I don't see it. I don't see the talent there. I don't really see him as a good coach. Sorry.
Whatever. Cincinnati, Scott Satterfield, good head coach. Back for his second season. His first season was not a success. 3-9 there, but didn't really have much to work with. Emory Jones was this quarterback last year. So, I mean, how many games are you expecting him to win with Emory Jones at quarterback? He's got the same coordinating staff back below him. As far as the quarterback, kid named Brendan Sorsby is going to be playing quarterback, and he's actually got nice-looking numbers. Here, let me put him up on the screen. He comes from Indiana, so this kid played in the Big Ten last year, and his numbers look pretty good. One sec, let me get him up. Here we go. His numbers from last year. I mean, he only started like 6 games or 7 games, I think it was. 1,600 yards, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I'm not going to pretend to know a ton about him because I don't, but I mean, got some decent-looking numbers. Comes in to play quarterback for Cincinnati. Anything that isn't Emory Jones is an upgrade here.
Yeah, I will give him a little bit of credit. I'm looking at his game logs. His worst game was against Purdue. It was the last game he played. Sorsby. He had a good game against Penn State, Illinois. Illinois was a pretty bad defense last year, though. Wisconsin played decently. Like, it doesn't look like he's putting up terrible numbers, although he did struggle against Rutgers. But he wasn't the starter at the beginning of the year, so he played a lot late in the season when a lot of teams probably had injuries involved and defenses that weren't very good. So like he's not god awful, but he's not good in any circumstance. But in this situation, anything is better than Emory Jones. So you're right.
All right. So yeah, upgrade from Emory Jones. Their RB1 is back. Corey Kiner, he's still there. 1,000 yards last year. They also brought in 2 transfers, one from Ohio State and a kid that was second team all conference from Grambling. So running back, they're set. They got their guy back and added 2 more pieces. So running back room should be solid. Their leading wide receiver is back. His name's Henderson. They lose their number 2, 3, and 4 receivers, but they bring their main guy back. They also added some weapons through the portal. 2 transfers from Conference USA. They brought in a kid from FIU, and they brought in a 1,000-yard receiver from UTEP. Or that might have been reversed. The 1,000-yard receiver might have been from FIU. They brought in 2 starting wide receivers from UTEP and FIU. They also brought in a kid from Ohio State. They also brought in a tight end. So they brought their lead receiver back and then crushed it in the portal as far as receiving weapons. So definitely an upgrade there as well. So far, quarterback upgraded. Running back room upgraded. Receiving room upgraded. Ready for this? Their entire offensive line is back. The entire offensive line. This is an offensive line that went into last year with just 1 returning starter. They bring them all back. So the Cincinnati offense, I'm a fan. I think the Bearcats are going to score points.
Yeah, just like last year, I think the offense is not as big of a concern. I mean, if you look at the stats last year, I mean, they were a great rushing team. They couldn't throw the ball. Sorsby will improve that a little bit. So like the offense will be a bit better. The O-line's the strength of the team. Everybody's saying that. So that makes sense. Offensively, they're not the worst team on the planet.
What do you mean? Not the worst team?
No,
they had a quarterback that protects the ball.
Okay.
They got a great running back room. An entire offensive line's back.
This is what I mean. Their pass, if you look at the passing numbers, and what I'm looking at right now, the passing numbers, let's say they slightly improve. Let's say instead
slightly improve, they had Emory Jones.
Let's say they go from 109th ranked, right, in yards per attempt to let's say they get to 80th. Okay?
I'm saying 55th.
That's very high. But, okay. And then their rushing room is obviously still going to be great. I think the offense can carry into being like a top 40 offense in the country. But that gets outweighed by the fact their defense was god-awful last year.
Okay, let's talk about the defense then. 4 of their top 6 defensive linemen are back. They lose their main 2 linebackers, who were number 1 and number 3 on the team in tackles. But apparently they're switching their defensive set up to a 3-3-5 to give the secondary some help. Secondary doesn't look great. They lost 2 safeties who were number 2 and 4 on the team in tackles. So they lost their leading 4 tacklers, but they brought in a bunch of transfers.
That's my point. You're now gambling on the transfers being good. And like, there's some teams where I believe in that for. I don't really think if you're replacing shit with more shit is the way that I'm kind of looking at this defense. I think their defense is still going to be holding them back significantly. And in the Big 12, you can't have a bad defense because everybody pretty much has a good defense. When you look at Oklahoma State's got a great defense this year. Arizona's a little bit worse, but there's a lot of teams up at the top that have good defenses that are going to crush this team when they play.
I disagree.
Plus bad coaching.
Let's play the win-loss game.
Plus bad coaching.
Let's see you put your money up. Let's see you put your money where your mouth is and start assigning some.
I know they have a week 2
and
loss.
Keep in mind, this is a live stream, so this is re-recorded, so we could go back to this.
Oh, I can't wait.
I can't wait. Cincinnati. Cincinnati Bearcats.
What a week 2 game.
It. Coach Doozy. That's a win or get fired job for Doozy. All right. So ready.
I'm circling one on here that looks like an upset spot.
1-0.
Yes, they
2-0.
will beat Towson.
3-0.
I think
4-0.
Those two in the middle are not.
They're not losing to the Red Hawks, bro.
Best team in the MAC. I think they could lose that game. Just saying. Houston, they'll beat. Houston's a very bad team.
Best team in the MAC.
Okay. Houston's a very bad team, so they should beat them.
Think they're going to lose I think they're going to. Hold on. You think they're going to lose to Miami, Ohio 2 years in a row? But breeze through that. Let's say that's a chalk up win because you like chalking up those as wins. I think they're losing to Pitt. I think. Oh wait, why did I say 4-0? It's 3-0. I'm sorry. They play Oklahoma in the 4th game.
No, they don't. That was last year.
Oh my God!
You're looking at last year's schedule.
I was going to say
no. Their schedule's Towson, Pitt, Miami of Ohio, and Houston.
I know. I switched the browser to 2024 to 3.
I think they're losing to Pitt. We're off on that game. I think Pitt's better than them, personally.
I don't hate Pitt this year.
That's a big rivalry game too. Those 2 teams hate each other. So
4-0.
Okay, I got them 3-1. Let's keep going.
At Lubbock's a loss.
Bounce House.
At Bounce House is a loss.
Yeah.
5-2. There's my 5th win right there. Arizona State.
I've got them 4-2. I think they win that game. I think they lose to Colorado.
That means they would be 4-3.
Yeah, 4-3. Sorry.
So I'm reading. I have 5-2 going into Colorado.
They're losing the last 5 games of the season. This is a 4-win team to me. 4-5. They could beat
TCU at home.
Yeah, I think TCU will need that game too.
I think they could get 7.
All right, we're fun. We believe the opposite about this team. I think this team is bad. But
so I'm on over 5.5 wins. Andy's on under 5.5 wins. Next.
UCF. Oh boy.
Bounce House. All right. So UCF head coach Gus Malzahn back for his 4th season. First year in the Big 12 wasn't terrible. He went 6-7, 3-6 in conference, went to a bowl game. Keep in mind, it was their first year in the Big 12. So the idea that they were going to go in and win 9 games and compete for the Big 12 championship with Oklahoma and Texas still there, it wasn't realistic. So 6-7, I think they'll take that. What happened last year, I don't think they're upset with that.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a pretty decent year for a team making their first, having their first season in the Big 12. Thought it was fine.
So Malzahn's back. He brings both his coordinators back. They're 67th in returning production this year, 15 returning starters. Now, I'm going to pass that over to Andy this one because he really dislikes KJ Jefferson as a quarterback. And if you don't know who that is, he was with Arkansas last year. Now, last season, John Reese Plumlee was the quarterback here at Central Florida. And, I mean, he was what he was. I mean, he was okay. He was a good athlete, made some plays, but, I mean, wasn't the best passer of the ball. So, before Andy goes on his anti-KJ Jefferson shit or whatever he's about to say, I will say that you have to admit they upgraded in the passing department with KJ Jefferson at quarterback.
Yeah, that's great. Cool. This is a bad quarterback. Look, he's really good. Last year, started off against West Carolina, looked great. Kent State looked great. BYU, one of the worst pass defenses in the country last year, looked great. LSU, very bad pass defense. He threw 2 picks against them, although he did have a good game overall. After that, pile of shit. This is not a good quarterback. He always starts off hot, and I will give KJ Jefferson credit. In non-conference games, I think he could win the Heisman if they were all non-conference games. He is amazing when he's playing teams that weren't in the SEC. Now, I know it was the SEC.
Playing all teams that are not in the SEC.
I understand. Now, he is still not good playing conference games in big games. Now, he went to Tuscaloosa last year and actually had a decent game where he threw for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, 14. He only attempted the pass 24 times. So he has to throw a lot more on this team in the Big 12. This is a passing conference. Granted, he's going to have a good running back behind him, but he has to be better than he's ever been before. This is his last year at college. He has never proven to be able to hold up a team. All of his teams at Arkansas have been bad. He has had good starts to seasons and then fallen off immediately. That is who KJ Jefferson is. Nothing can change my mind. This is a guy who will start hot. I'm sure he'll have a really good game against New Hampshire and Sam Houston State, but then he'll play like crap because that's what he does every single time. I rest my case.
It's crazy. It's not that I'm pro KJ Jefferson. I don't think he's great, but certainly I don't think he sucks.
He really had a great game last year on November 18th against FIU. He's a really good quarterback when it's not a team in your conference.
They brought in some transfers on the edge. Yeah. Pass rush should be there at FIU this year. All right. So, what else do you like about the? Do you like the rest of the UCF offense?
What I do love the running back. Look, Harvey's a star. He hit 1,400 plus yards last year. Plus Richardson comes back. He had 500 plus. So their running back room's good. But that's great. Their wide receiver room is good, but again, I don't think the quarterback's very good. They have a 1,000-yard receiver from Toledo. They brought in an Ohio transfer they like and an Auburn transfer. Transfers with a older quarterback who I don't think is very good. I don't think that mixes well. I don't think this team will be able to pass for too much. I think they'll be able to run for a lot. The running game is going to happen, but I think teams are going to be able to prepare for that, and they're going to have to outrun teams a lot. Don't think they're going to be able to do that. On defense, they lost their best player. Their D-line is just low-level, low-experience transfers with no star after they lost them. In the linebacking core, they bring in a lot of transfers again to make up this unit. They have transfers from Ole Miss, Texas State, Idaho, Vanderbilt. Whatever, they have to mesh. That's a question mark to me. But they do have a lot back on the secondary, and they're also adding a big transfer from East Tennessee that they like. So this is a team that their defense is pretty much just makeshift transfers. So you're telling me I have a quarterback I don't like. I have a really good running room, which is great, but I'm sure a running room can't just completely hold you up in this conference. So I have a running room that's really good, but I have a bad quarterback, young transfers in the receiver room, and my entire defense is transfers. I really don't like this team.
Yeah, noted. Holy shit.
I can't wait until they lose their first game.
Okay, speaking of, I can't wait till they lose their first game. Wow, strong words there. Whoops, that's the wrong window I just brought in. Let's bring in the...
Not a Friday night.
The UCF Knights schedule here. Here it is. Week 1, win. Week 2, win. Week 3, loss.
Yeah, they're going to lose at TCU. Yeah.
Week 4. Oh, no, that's actually week 5. There's a bye in there.
Yeah.
Why is Colorado playing so many teams off the bye?
I don't know. Don't get that rumor started. People will start flipping out on Twitter.
3-1.
Yeah, they'll be 3-1. I think that Florida game's very losable. Florida is going to be the more talented team. Florida has a good roster, bad coaching, but good roster. So I think he's not a good coach. But yeah, that's a road game in the Swamp. I think they lose.
So 3-2. Cincinnati loss. No, I'm just kidding. No. That's a win. I gave Cincinnati a loss there, but don't sleep on that game. So that's 4-2. At Iowa State is tough.
Yeah, they're not winning that one. That's going to be a game where they're going to be pretty bad.
BYU home win.
BYU's a win. That means we got them at what, 4?
5-3.
5-3. Okay, they're losing to Arizona.
5-4.
Arizona State they're beating.
6-4.
And then they're going 0-2 the rest of the way to me.
That's 6. So you don't even have them at 7?
No, I have them at 6 wins. And I think what they're trying to...
they have this total at 7.5 juiced to over, which means they have them closer to 8.
A lot of people, I will say this, a lot of people are going to have them beat West Virginia. I'm higher on West Virginia, fine. I'll own that. But people are just kind of naturally assuming they're going to upset Florida, and I don't like that. Like,
No way.
I
No
think
one's
that's
assuming
become a
that
normal.
shit. No one's
like,
assuming that
when
shit.
everybody tells me about how hard Florida's schedule is, they mention that UCF is like a loss for them. Like, I don't
No
think
way.
Florida's that bad of a team where they're going to come
dude,
out
no
and
one's saying
lose
that.
to UCF. No, this is a thing. This is a thing that's happened.
No one's saying that Florida is going to be dogs in the swamp.
I'm not saying they're going to be dogs,
Yeah, but you're saying if
people
everyone
are
thinks they're gonna lose, then
people
that
that
means
do
they're gonna be
people
dogs.
that
No.
I've seen doing this thing where they're like betting on teams, not betting on these win totals. They're just naturally assuming Florida's going to get upset there. I don't understand. People have Florida at 2-10, 3-9, and they're naturally assuming that UCF's going to go in there and beat them. Look, the swamp is not the hardest place to play, but it is definitely not an easy place to play. So I don't think
KJ
that's-
Jefferson, his trip back to the SEC.
Yeah, where he performed really well, by the way.
It's a loss. Yeah, so both under. We're both on the under here. This clearly we're off a little bit here because they have this one all the way up closer to 8 wins. But I think you're wrong. There's no way. There's no way that this win total's at close to 8. 7.5 choose to the over. That means they got 8 wins on here for them, and I'm not seeing.
I mean,
8 wins.
maybe people think they're going to beat TCU
Maybe
easily.
TCU.
Maybe that's the game. But
Iowa State, maybe.
I don't know. I don't trust this team going into road environments, and you have some tough ones there. Iowa State's not easy. The Swamp's not easy. Obviously, TCU. West Virginia is people don't understand. West Virginia is one of the hardest places to play, no matter how good the team is. So
oh my God, would you get off West Virginia's nuts? Speaking of which, next up is West Virginia, and those of you that don't sit next to Andy for 45 hours a week working, Andy loves this team. He likes this West Virginia team a lot. Look, I purposely didn't write down any notes for West Virginia. I mean, obviously, Neil Brown's back for his 6th season. They were great last year. They were 9-4, 6-3 in conference. They beat North Carolina in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. 32nd in returning production, 13 returning starters, 8 on offense. No question, surface level numbers. They were a good team last year, and they bring a lot of pieces back, which is what you look for. So on the surface, West Virginia should be poised for a great season here. But I don't think Green's that good, the quarterback. I don't think he's that good. So I kind of like him coming back is kind of like to me. So go ahead. Tell us why you think West Virginia is the second coming of the Georgia Bulldogs.
No, I don't go crazy there. But I think I do agree with you. I don't think Green's like a great thrower, but he's good at what he needs to be. They were 6th in run frequency in the country last year. He's a running quarterback. He's very good at that one thing. They bring back their top 2 backs, and he's the 3rd leading rusher. So the top 3 leading rushers are back from last year. That's all this team wants to do. All they want to do is run, but they want to throw. They have their top receiver back as well. They also brought in a guy from Oklahoma State. Fine. Like I said, this team is not going to throw the ball very much. They're going to run a lot, and they have the quarterback to do that. I think if he can do enough with his arm, because I mean, they were 37th in yards per attempt last year, so like they weren't terrible when they wanted to throw, but they were only average. Yeah, like I said, this team's going to run the ball a lot on teams. Unit return, the O-line returns 3. Returns 4. I'm sorry, and they allowed 3 allowed 3. What is this? Only allowed 3 in the final.
Wow, doesn't even know how to read his
No,
own
I can't
notes.
read my note.
Now you know why me and Proppy Broies can never read your notes.
All I know is that this is a great unit. It says they only allowed 3 sacks. They only allowed 3 sacks in the final 9 games last year. They allowed 6 in the previous 3. So this is a unit that's going to protect the quarterback, but also they're going to be able to get the run game going for them. Sorry, couldn't read that. And then on defense, very talented linebacking core. D-line is split with transfers, 2 back, 2 coming in. So 2 returners, 2 transfers. So, I mean, they're banking a little bit on their run defense there, which wasn't very good last year. So they have to hope those guys come in. Linebacking core is one of the best in the Big 12. So, I mean, expect them to be fine there. And the safety's a question. They had to bring in transfers there, but the corners are still very strong. They brought them back. So they brought in a guy from Northwestern as well. So this should be a good cornerback room. Safety's tough. So the secondary split. Linebackers are some of the best in the Big 12.
That's a very interesting story. Now, I pulled up the schedule. They're starting 1-8. They might start 1-8, Andy.
1-8. Okay.
Their win against Albany. Point me out the wins.
Pitt.
What's Narduzzi coming off of?
Cincinnati.
So they're coming off a
They're
loss.
coming off a big emotional rivalry game, and now they have to play a big
loss.
emotional rivalry game. So that's a win for them. So I got them 2-1.
Narduzzi coming
Kansas at home is a very winnable game for this team.
No, it's not.
Kansas will be a tough team to beat, but at home, this is a very tough place to play.
Daniels is going to cook on that defense.
Can't wait. Oklahoma State's a loss, obviously. I think Iowa State at home is a winnable game. Kansas State and Arizona are losses. Cincinnati's a win. Baylor's a win. So I got them probably at 6 to 7 wins there. UCF is a possible win at the end.
6 to 7 wins, so you're not even convinced they go over.
I think they go over. I'll give them 7.
Oh yeah, they're just gonna win at Lubbock. Yeah, he's going to Lubbock and win. Go ahead.
No, I mean I think Penn State is a good game. I think all of these games are good toss-up games to me. I don't think the only game that is not a toss-up to me is when they go to Oklahoma State. I think Ollie Gordon may have 300 yards in that game. Other than that, I think there are a lot of toss-up games. This is a good team that can win close games. Maybe I think this is a good team.
Under. Cool story. Under 6.5 wins for me. Yeah. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same deal. Tomorrow we're doing the I think we're out of the NFC West, so I think we're doing what's the next? NFC North?
I think Saints.
Saints, I think, are tomorrow. And then we're doing more college football. Yeah, that was a crazy schedule because truly, I'm not like a West Virginia hater, and I did not plan to disagree with Andy. Like, I know he's crazy about West Virginia, so I was going to make jokes about it, but I wasn't planning on putting under up. When he was talking, I pulled up the schedule and I was like, "Holy shit, dude!" Like,
there are a lot of toss-up winnable games there to me.
A lot of toss-up losable games.
Yeah, well, that's what a toss-up is.
Fair. All right, everyone, have a good night. My bets are posted on the site for those of you who want it. They also have, I think, 6 football bets posted. So if you're interested in those, go check them out. Just click on open football bets, and you can see like sauce. I have some futures, some week 1 bets up there. So everyone, have a good night. See you.